There we go. That should be working now. 1, 2. Oh god, is that a bit loud? Hopefully that's okay. The silent treatment. Could have stayed at home. Is that better, everybody? That might be peaking a little bit. I'm not too sure. Is that too loud? Sound is good. Better. No video, says William Bodie.
Refresh. It's always William and Dutch Jan. Are they based in the same country?
Yeah, they might be actually. Sound good. Awesome. Good stuff. Everything is working, and we've got no weird motion blur. We've got the overhead camera working, hopefully. Hello. And let's see, desktop stream. Yep, that appears to be working also. Excellent stuff. Good evening. It is Saturday the 17th of February 2024. I have to think when it is now. No tea, stop the stream. Is over there. You need hands to do dishes, lol. Thanks, Nick. I got a wife for that. I don't need to do dishes. Slightly sexist and misogynist. I do apologise. But, however true. Let's put the SD card back in the camera. Forgot about that a little bit earlier.
We were going to do it the other night, but I felt guilty asking you.
And I've got my my big cup of tea. Dutch Jan says no sound. Sound should be working now. Sorry, I've just had bacon and steak for dinner, and somewhat salted right out. So I might have to subsidise myself with some cake goodness. There we go, live on your channel. Yep, that appears to be working. Security alert from Google. Yeah, whatever.
Should we do super chats first?
Let's do the super chat. Have we had super chats? I didn't even see those, or there was no super chats.
There was.
Oh, there was. Sorry, yeah, I did see those. So Jason Woods coming with a super chat, says £2. Good evening all. Thank you, Jason. And also we have got Ugly Bob, £2 also. Disco, disco, disco.
This light on and off isn't very good.
Ah, dear. I'm absolutely shattered. Absolutely shattered. It's been a busy old week here at the Mike's Unboxing household. William Bodie says, I've got sound but video freezes every time I refresh. Why is that? Not sure. That is very strange. Anyway, tonight's stream, we'll be taking a look at the new Thermaltake Ceres 330 ARGB TG case, and somewhat discussing whether or not do we actually need this in our lives. There is going to be obviously a big amount of people which absolutely detest cable management and suck at it, and without being too rude, you only have to come over to our Discord and look at some of the new builds, and you'll know that some people are slightly less au fait with the arts of cable management. So I think actually for some people it's going to be extremely beneficial. But for those of us that have been building PCs for probably 20, 30 years, cable management is one of those things that you kind of pick up as you go along, and you get more and more accustomed to what goes where and how you can lay out cables. So I think there's going to be the enthusiast crowd, the more experienced enthusiasts who probably will be thinking, well, is it really worth it? Ultimately, it's going to come down to if it costs more. If you can do it without having to cost more, then having it as an option, I think, is a good thing. But we'll see what you guys say. There is actually a poll running. So if you look over at the chat, you'll see there was a poll. So just ask the question. I better click on it actually so I can remember what it is. Are wires and connectors ugly enough that we need 0 wire cases and motherboards? Was the question. The answers are yes, no, not sure, or not bothered. And it's supposed to say if it costs the same, but I typed it wrong, so it says it is cost the same. So for the for those that struggle with English, don't worry, you're in a very, very similar boat as myself. There is another super chat come in from our good friend Ugly Bob. Thank you, Ugly Bob. So recently, oh hang on, there we go. I recently retook my Navy exams. I got 7 C's. Oh dear, that's terrible. Oh dear. Will there be pole dancing later? Unlikely. Possible, but unlikely.
Your mother's calling you, Candy.
Let's see what some of you are saying there. Oh dear. Ugh. Aletta says, Mike, I don't have a religious bone in my body, but cable connecting to the back of the motherboard is something I've been praying for. William Bodie says, just wanted to write now, it's working, but did freeze again. The network's fine, but on mub streams it does that. On any other stream there are no problems. I have no idea why that would be. Tony Moore says, did you know if you talk to cows, they produce more milk? I did not know that. What about if you have a radio by them? Do cows have a preference for musical taste? Are cows into R&B or pop, reggae, classical?
But that's frequency, I expect, isn't it? Our plants and stuff grow quicker.
That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? If you could put some sort of ghetto blaster by the side of a cow, or a accumulation of cows, otherwise known as a herd, and depending on the music you produce, you get a different type of milk. Maybe milkshakes. That'd be great. Oh dear. Chris Ballard says, I'm going to get it out of the way now so I don't have to say it later. Cosplay of Wizard and Genie Penis One, thank you. Now I return to your regularly scheduled, unpredictable comedy hour. Hopefully there'll be no cosplay Wizard Genie Penis Ones tonight. I don't think there will be.
Unless you want us to get it out.
Sherzo says, cows love music. Wah, 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 wah. I haven't even got a sound effect for that. I wish I did. I've got party blooper, which doesn't work. Gosh darn it. Every time I change something on this computer, something doesn't work. You'd think by now I'd be getting almost good at this. High definition audio device. That's the badger. Let's see if that works now. It works. Thank baby Jesus for that. Is the volume up? There we go, volume is up. It's better, I can live with that. Freedom House says, hi Mike and Kath, my cables are RGB. I like them personally. I think that is probably, excuse me, I think that steak is trying to make its way back up. Good reason to go vegan. No, don't go vegan. Sonny147 says, I love the pointing on the brickwork. The brickwork is mostly done by hand, by pen. There's a little bit down here which I haven't touched in yet. So I can just write that in. You probably can't see that. So.
Yeah, you can. Oh, maybe you can.
There's a little bit of brickwork. That is actually where the cats destroyed it a little bit. There you just draw those bricks back in. Buffering. What is going on? There is something screwy going on with our network. Let me have a quick look at the settings. Where are we? Video, no output. Encoder balance. Let's try speed. Let's see if that helps. Don't seem to have lost any frames, so we'll see what happens, see if that changes anything. Stuttering mic here, but buffering again. Jason Woods says, Mike, your live stream are the highlights of my week. Thank you, Jason. That's very kind of you to say. I could be disrespectful to myself there and say you must not have a very, very interesting week. But thank you. AC1, is it really a tech stream if there isn't internet issues? Hey, I think you're absolutely right there. Tech issues are something, we all get them. This week, actually, I found an interest, well, I think I know why we have some of our technology issues in this particular household. And unfortunately, they do appear to be down to our feline friends. Now, in the back room, behind this wall, that is where our front room, basically, is where the internet comes into the house. And I've got all the comm stuff kind of tucked away there. So I've got the NAS, I've got the router, I've got the mesh, the switches, all that kind of stuff, and the telephone and all that. And it seems that slowly but surely the cats are chewing through most of the cables. an interesting thing happened yesterday. We've been having terrible troubles with our telephone system, which in itself there is an irony to it, because about a month or two ago I actually did a video on how to transfer your existing telephone line to the new Virgin Media voice over IP system. There was like a whole switchover thing which happened in our particular region. I think it was towards the end of September, maybe October. Might even be as far back as August now. But anyway, ever since, there's been some slight issues with it. So every now and then you pick up the phone to make a call. Remember that? Picking up a phone to make a call? Yeah, I know. Landlines, wow, they're a thing of the past. But you used to pick it up and immediately you get the engaged tone. But people could still call you, and we would receive incoming calls, mostly spam ones to be completely honest with you, but we would get them. And you could answer them and you could talk. But if you picked up the phone to make a call, you got an engaged tone. So it's like, okay, whatever, we don't really use it, so we'll just leave it.
My mum was trying to ring us and it was engaged.
Yeah. Every Friday, Kath's mum would phone up and Kath would do her shopping online, because Kath's mum's not great with technology, so she would give her order and she'd do the online ordering. So they would use the landline for doing that, and she could never get through. So they ended up reverting back to mobile phones, etc., etc. And on Friday, last night, was it last night? It must have been last.
All out of sync now.
It's all out of sync.
So refresh and see if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see it buffering like crazy. Let me see what's going on here a minute. Settings, video, outputs. So I had that set to speed, so let's try quality. And we'll down that a little bit. We'll apply that, we'll click OK, we'll stop, and we'll start streaming again. Hopefully that should come back on now. It might have just frozen on the screen there, it says no data, but we should be back live and direct momentarily. Hopefully it catches up. It says excellent connection on there, on the YouTube widgety thing.
What do they know?
What do they know? They haven't got cats chewing through their fricking cables. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So the telephone line, I got pissed off with it. So I phoned up Virgin Media, said, look, this is the problem. And it was weird because you could actually have the phone plugged in, it would get an engaged tone. And if you unplugged the telephone, people calling you would still get the engaged tone at times. So they couldn't physically get through to you. So I'm thinking, well, if the telephone's unplugged, then surely it's a problem with the router or something external. But it got to the point, it was like, well, I've had enough of this. Get on the phone to Virgin Media, went through all the things, done the testing. And for some reason, I thought to myself, well, I've got another handset upstairs, which was for emergency purposes. So I disconnected the cable from that, the 2-pin, I think they're called an RJ11. I could be wrong on that. If anyone's technically minded out there and knows about the old modem style cables, I'm sure they were called RJ11. Anyway, so I plugged that into the phone and magically it started working.
Sorry, I got to see your
Is it, are we in sync?
Think so.
Yes, close enough, it'll do. Sound is in sync here. Okay, just checking. RJ11, thanks, Sky. So, yeah, I was very kind of, not apologetic. I basically winged it with the Virgin Media guy. I said, oh, thank you, it's all working now. I'm not sure what you've done, but it seems to be fantastic now, so thank you very much. But it appears to be where the cats have chewed a cable. Now, I actually examined the cable, and I couldn't find any obvious kind of things where the cable was broken, but there was some teeth marks actually in the plastics. So whether they damaged something, those copper wires that are inside the cables aren't always the best. So I've got at least, there's about 10 Cat5 cables that all terminate behind that area. Category 5. There are nearly 10 Category 5 cables, and I'm pretty sure that the cats have managed to chew through the outers of at least some of them. I do generally go around and replace them every now and then. I got to the point where I was actually buying colour-coded cables so I'd know which ones I'd replaced. But I think, I don't know, well, I'm going to have to find some way of making it so the cables or all of that is hidden. I would really, really love to have like a little comms cabinet and have it all isolated so the cats can't attach it. But there isn't really enough room behind the TV where it is for that to go, because those comms cabinets are normally quite deep. If I could maybe
get rid of the cabinet because we don't use a TV.
No, yeah, I suppose I could do.
Get rid of that whole bit.
I could get rid of the TV and all of it and just have a nice stack system full of network stuff. That would be great. Anyway, so the Kitty 5 cables, I think that is potentially what our problem is, that we don't have a good signal. Sorry, no, we don't have a bad connection. You can't know. Maisie, you can't go to sleep up there. Maisie likes to sleep on top of there. She's got a thing for ASUS keyboards, particularly the ASUS Tough Gaming one. In fact, let me grab you another. I'll grab another one. I've got a spare. Luckily.
Here you go, Mabes.
Maisie, here you go. Here's the most uncomfortable thing on the world to sleep on. ASUS Tough Gaming keyboard. There you are. Sit your ass on that.
Do you want to sit on there?
Matthew Day says use a zipper wrap on them. Yeah, that might work out actually. I need to do something with it. It's one of those things, unfortunately, that I do like to make it so that the cables are accessible should I need to change anything. So I don't really want to completely enclose them. And because there is I'll explain the topology of the network. So we've got the incoming Virgin Media modem. So in the States, you probably have like your Comcast or I'm not sure what the other companies are actually. So you're basically your provider modem. So for us in the UK, if you're with Virgin Media, you have to keep using that. So even if you want to use a different router or a mesh or something, you've got to use the existing one. So that is kind of decoding the external signal, and that gives you normally what you get with a traditional modem router. So 4 Ethernet ports, your Wi-Fi, all the settings. So in the UK, what we generally tend to do is get the modem and switch it, the router, and switch it into modem only mode. So you've got your incoming data cable, and you have maybe one cable coming back out to go then into your mesh. So I've got the Virgin Media box going into a mesh unit, which is the one we reviewed on the channel ages ago. The M30, M1 Multi, that was it. So the M1 Multi, which is a mesh system. So I've got one cable going into there. Then from that, there's one cable coming out of there, which then goes into a 2.5 gig switch with 8 ports. And then the PCs in this room are connected to another 2.5 gig switch, which then runs a single cable from here into the next room. It's quite complicated. And then into that switch in the other room, there's also the other 2 multi-units, the M1 multis, one of which is upstairs in this bedroom above us, and one in the far side of the house. So those cables are run up through into the ceiling, the roof space, or the loft as we call it here. I'm not sure what you call it in other countries, I guess it's a loft. So they run all the way across the house, back down the outside wall, and then back in where the Virgin Media modem cable comes in, and then it goes back in and then back into that 2.5 switch. So there's loads of potential points of failure on these wires, unfortunately. So yes, it's not great, and I do need to do something with it. Dutch Jan says buy shielded cable, Mike. Can you buy small lengths of shielded cable? Like 1 meter lengths or half meter lengths, just so that I can kind of connect up things like the NAS. The NAS is also connected locally to that. And there's also the Hive box for the Hive heating. Probably something else as well, I can't think what it is. Anyway, there's various things which are all plugged in there. And because all the cables, they're like IKEA shelves like this, with all the network stuff on top, and the cables are just kind of looped around and going down the side of the wall. The cats love it. And also there is a UPS in there as well. So if we have a power outage, the Synology NAS doesn't lose power. So that's a terrible thing for a NAS. So there is a battery backup unit. And unfortunately, the test button for the battery backup unit is on the top. So the cats get behind the TV area into that section and they stand on the test button. So every now and then we could be sat in here just doing our own thing, and all of a sudden you hear a beep, 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 beep. It's like, oh God, what have they done now? Generally it's okay. Anyway, so there you go.
Close your ears, little kittens.
Are we still buffering? Is it good?
Mine seems
Charles
alright.
says seconds, then it stops and the buffering goes on incessantly.
But if he's on his Kindle, it's okay.
Hmm.
And I think
I have no
leaving
idea.
under it?
David Under says, stream perfect on phone, absolute crap on broadband on PC. I don't know what's going on, I really don't.
Ugly Bob wrapped them in foil to stop the conspiracists.
Ugly Bob says, used to wrap them in tin foil to stop the pets. That might be good. Skystalker says, seems fine here, no buffering lately, good. Willie Bob says, here, it's perfect now, thank you. Tony Beckett says, it's the cats, it is.
I've got most of them near me, about half of them. One on my lap.
I haven't seen it buffering on the screen anyway, so we're all good. What else have we got in this week before we get into the case itself? I'm trying to think what we've done. So, did finish the review finally yesterday for the Thermaltake CTE E600 MX, available in their new Hydrangea Blue. That is a mad case. If you're one of our Discord members, if you've been in there, you'll see yesterday I posted in the My Rig section various pictures of the RGB Fest. It was the E600 MX. It is absolutely a crazy case. I really love it, but it's just massive. That is the thing about these CTE cases. They're absolutely huge. Tony Beckett says, Houston, we have a problem. Well, it seems to be okay. I don't think we've dropped any frames. Yeah, OBS doesn't seem to have dropped any frames, so I'm not sure what is going on. I really don't. I get confused with this stuff. It's ridiculous. Alessa says the cats are contacting the mothership again. They probably are.
Dutch Jan's put a link in.
What's that for?
Amazon. I haven't clicked on it.
What is it? Let's have a look.
Might not be doing anything.
Not really.
Discord, did you say?
Ah, shielded cable, 25 feet. Okay. So maybe I'll look for that. I'll maybe look for that over the weekend for some shielded cables. That might be actually useful. If it is something to do that. I'm not sure if it is, but
they get the blame.
We blame the cats anyway.
You do.
Let's clear that. Yeah, so we have some other, well, I've got a load of Thermaltake stuff coming in again. I don't know what, for some reason they like sending us stuff. I guess it's because we're free, or at least cheap. Cheap and free, both of those things. The only thing it costs them is time when I'm on the message to them saying, can I do this, or how do I do this, or where can I get links for this? But yes, as you probably will know, we do not charge in any way, shape or form for any of the unboxings or reviews or opinion pieces that we do on the channel. So companies generally quite like us, I think, because they send us stuff, we send it back, and it doesn't cost them anything other than the shipping label. So it's pretty good. At least good for them. Let us heart in Thermaltake. Yeah, Thermaltake do some pretty good stuff. They do some quite weird stuff as well, and sometimes some of the things I find a little questionable. But overall, they seem to be a great company to work with on projects, so it's good. Yes, Kath?
Ugly Bob sending these to you to review and test.
What is he sending?
Tidy wire sleeves with zippers, 2-meter cable management sleeves.
Oh, don't do it, Bob.
Should be with you tomorrow.
Oh, God. He's done it. I don't think I can even use zipper cables on there because it's so much. The cables are they're coming out of the router, but then after that they just go boing everywhere because they're not really, well, half of the cables aren't long enough, which is one of the points, because every time I get a cable go wrong or the end goes wrong, I snip a bit of the cable off, and because they're hardwired through the house, they started off and they were about 2 meters long coming out the side of the wall, which they only need to be about 1 meter. But I've chopped off and chopped off and chopped off and chopped off. And I got to the point now where they're kind of stretching across. I do need to do a full rewire, to be fair. Too late, done it. Cheers, Bob.
Like our doorbell at our old house, wasn't it? Our nephew, every time he came there, for some reason, pulled our doorbell wire out until it got too short.
Make sure this has got no labels on. Okay. Something else actually which Bob sent us, which I have to do a review on. I've started doing the review of this already. Done some tests with our open source response time testing tool. This is a portable monitor from a company which maybe actually it's really good when we got times like this where we got the community together. We can actually throw a few ideas around and actually work things out. Now, I've got a real dilemma with this for no other logical reason than the fact that I cannot pronounce the name.
Which is why I think that Bob sent it.
I think Bob does it because they're in like Chinglish, and you just, I don't know. So you lot can help me out with this and just give me some idea of what this brand is actually called. Because I was writing it on the board, because we've got a board above the fireplace there of all the kind of videos to do. And I was writing this one up and I'm like, I actually don't even know what I'm going to write here. So that is the brand's name. It is spelt HGFRTEE. So
that might have been why I sent it, because it's hilarious. I knew.
So help me out here. I have no idea. Maybe it means something in another language, but I don't know. It sounds like the sort of thing I would say after falling over drunk. So there you go. There is the instruction manual. So HGFRT. I don't even know how to start pronouncing that, because Hugferty is like, it doesn't really roll off the tongue, and it almost twists the tongue. So yeah, HGFRTEE. Like if it was HG3, you could do that, but HGFRT doesn't sound right, does it? HGFRT. I might have to call it that, but I don't think it's a word.
Must be Klingon tech.
It is unusual tech, that's for damn sure. The strange thing is, it's actually a fantastic screen. So this is a 16-inch screen. Normally you get like 15.4s, but this is actually pretty cool. So this is a 1920 by 1200 resolution. So you've got a little bit of extra height there. I think that's a 16 by 10 resolution. Kind of thing you'd get on quite a lot of laptop screens. So if you've got a laptop and you want to run this parallel to it, it's going to be very nice. It's got a kickstand as you'd expect on the back, a couple of built-in speakers. Also there is part of a VESA mount, which I was thinking maybe you could screw up on top, but there's not. So yeah, you've got your 2 screws there for attaching to a VESA 75. It's quite funny actually. On the side there is, on one side you've got HDMI or mini HDMI plus 2 USB Type-Cs for power or for the touchscreen. You can power it both through there, or you can use this as like a reverse power as well. So you can put USB-C into here, then the USB-C out into like your laptop or your iPad or something. You can charge the device via that. But on the other side there is a menu wheel and a 3.5mm jack, and also a power button or menu select button. And it was quite dark. I was in behind here plugging it all in. I was trying to plug the mini HDMI in, and I was like, why the bloody hell won't this go in? And I realised I was trying to plug it into the menu jog wheel.
But it's the cats that break the cables.
It's the cats that break the cables. It's just me can't see the damn things. So anyway, there is that. Comes with all the cables as well, as you'd expect. The smart assistant won't even be able to see it. Oh, what, the OpenAI type thing?
No, that's called Siri.
Yeah, but how am I going to say?
How do you pronounce and say the letters? I would imagine.
We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. I think this is open for failure. Hey Siri, how do you pronounce HGFRTEE? It comes up with the HGFRTEE portable computer monitor on Amazon.co.uk, and also one from Amazon.com.au. That is it. So we are none the wiser. If anybody, yeah, whatever. I don't even know how to even begin with that. It's going to be an interesting review. More to the fact that I probably will avoid saying the name. Although it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't in massive white letters on the front, which Actually, yay, they're stickers. Right, I'm going to get rid of that. Oh, I could have had some fun with that. I could have got rid of most of the letters apart from a couple to make it into something I can actually say. Just call it tree or T. So thanks, Bob.
Is it a name or an acronym?
Is it a name or... If it's an acronym, it's a long one. What would it be? High graphics from Russia to Europe,
Eternally.
etc. Oh, can't get it. So, alright, get on with it, bloody hell.
Get on with it.
Get on with it. Actually, who imports it? Let's see if we know who imports it, because it might be easier to say their name.
Imported.
Support at bolinia.com. Right, it's a bolinia.com monitor, that'll do. And not Bolinia, that used to be the German monitor manufacturer. It is Bolinia. BOLINOA-PQ. Price wise, I think that was at the moment on AliExpress. I think that's where Bob got it from. It is about £90. I think there was a discount voucher of some sort. Bob, you'll have to put the link in, or alternatively tell us how much it was. But yeah, don't buy it off Amazon, because the Amazon one is like double the price, I'm sure. David Underhill says, watching stream on phone, casting to TV, using chat via PC. That's technology for you, isn't it? Is it a name or an acronym? Hayden Trent just got in, says, howdy all, just got in from work. How you doing? Zrodfx says, there are loads of random Chinese companies on Amazon with strange names. There really is. There really, really is.
Thanks, Ed.
So Ugly Bob has put the link in there. So yeah, 86 quid he paid. Currently it is 94.27 if I go into there. So I don't want to subscribe to notifications. So I don't think that has got any personal information. That hasn't. So we can have a look at that. Desktop stream. So there we go. There is the AliExpress. Comes from this particular company called Factory Direct Collected Store from China.
Factory Direct.
China.
What's the...
And they've got 95% positive feedback from 2 sales. I jest. 5.7 million followers. So that is half of a Chinese town. But yeah, you see, so it's 1200p, 60 hertz, touchscreen. They claim 100% of the sRGB gamut and a 3 millisecond response time. So I can already tell you that it doesn't meet 3 milliseconds. Although, having said that, if you include also your PC latency, it's actually not a million miles off of that. So you've normally got about 3 to 4 milliseconds of input latency from your PC. So that is between your PC actually having an image, it processing it, and all that kind of stuff. So if you add all the latencies together, that is what your kind of perceived latency is, which is what obviously a monitor is going to reproduce. Which this one was closer to, I think it was about 6 or 8 milliseconds. So it's kind of within that acceptable range. But yeah, overall, seems to be a very nice monitor. I've got some reviews still on it. They do a couple of other ones as well. There's a 14-inch 4K, and there is an 18.5-inch there as well. Let's have a look at that one. That sounds quite interesting. 1080p, 100 hertz, 18.5 inches. That's actually quite appealing, although it's an EU plug, but never mind. No touchscreen, unfortunately. So you might as well just buy a monitor at that point. Anyway, back to the whole point of what we're supposed to be doing here tonight. So we are discussing, where's my bloody mouse gone? Oh, there we go. Oh, talking of where's my mouse gone, where also has my Macintosh gone, the Mac has gone back. It is no more. It is, well, I'd say it's gone back. It's actually in a box under here. So there's the Mac Mini boxed up, ready to go back. I give up. There are so many things about it which I love, but the one thing that I wanted to be able to do with it, which was to edit the videos, just in case my primary PC is either unavailable, dead, or Windows is just doing its usual thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that for me, and with the kind of quirks and weirdness associated with the Macintosh operating system, I felt that £600 that I'd invested into it is a bit much. So it is going back to Amazon, unfortunately. I wish there was some more positive things I could say about the Mac operating system, but after using it for probably, I don't know, about a week, I would say, on and off, I still don't think it's a dividing line. If you use your PC as a tool to do things, but a multitude of different things, I think the PC has the upper hand. If you're using your computer for specific tasks, I think the Mac probably will have it. But there's some things like the window management, just something as simple as having, like what I've got on the screen here. So I've got a split screen going on, which I'll show you. So at the moment you can see I've got a split screen, so I'll just click at the top here and it's got layouts of what I can do. So that's very easy. Unfortunately with a Mac, it's basically, well, not impossible, but it's just really difficult to kind of get that to work without having a much more in-depth knowledge of the operating system. Whereas with Windows, it's just like, all right, well, what it looks like that, so that's what I want, and it kind of works. With the Mac, I think you've got to do like either command key and arrows or something, hotkeys. I just can't be bothered to learn all that stuff. It doesn't feel as intuitive as it should do. Don't get me wrong, it does what it needs to do, and it does it fine in things like file management, the security side of it, the way it kind of protects its own system files. Can't fault it at all. And if you like using it, that's absolutely great. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't what I wanted. It lacked power for the video editing, which was to be expected because it was the baseline model, but I was hoping that it would at least give me a fighting chance with maybe using reduced size files or proxies or whatever. But as soon as I added more than one layer onto the timeline, it just ground to a halt, and that for me was unacceptable. So unfortunately that has gone back. Yeah, ZorFX says better getting a MacBook for Mac-based fun. I think that's what I'll do. Next time I see a cheap and cheerful MacBook or something, I might jump on that. I do still want to kind of, yeah, I still want to get involved with it and try and use it and get more used to it. But it's an interesting thing. I was very much in two minds about keeping it or sending it back. But ultimately, I was thinking for £600 for what it is, it's a lot of money for something which I'm not going to get a great deal of use out of. If it was my primary PC, I would have probably stuck with it and made adjustments, but the fact I've got other computers, it seems a bit of a waste. But it is a cracking bit of kit, don't get me wrong. And I may well do like a standalone video at some points with the pros and cons of why, if you're a PC user, you might not enjoy using a Mac. I think that might be quite an interesting thing for some other people to hear. Anyway, let's move on. So there is a poll for those of you that are with us tonight. So currently at the moment on the poll, are wires and connectors ugly enough that we need to have a 0-wire case and motherboard? Because one's pretty useless without the other. At the moment, 21% of you say yes.
Jason's off.
A whopping, cheers Jason. A whopping 58% of you are saying no. 13% of you are saying not sure, not bothered. And 9% of you are currently saying that you don't really care if it costs the same, which I think is fair enough. So no at the moment is the resounding answer. And yeah, I thought the poll was going to be slightly different than that, or a little bit more balanced possibly. So it seems that the majority of you are dead against it. So we'll have a look at this case. Luckily, this case, the Series 330 from Thermaltake, although it has the ability to support Project Zero type motherboards, or ASUS's BTF, or back to front design as they call it, you don't have to use it. So it's an option on this case. So if you just want to stick in a standard ATX motherboard or a micro ATX motherboard, you can do. It's absolutely fine. There's no problems with doing that, and they've actually got it. It's essentially the same as the Series 300 in the majority of its kind of layout, but there's a few subtle tweaks which brought it a little bit more into 2024. So we'll take a look at that shortly. Aletta says it should be an option, like $1,200 custom loops. That would be a nice option. O'Reilly says a MacBook would probably work non-air, and certainly a MacBook Pro would be for video editing, but I think your Windows kit would still be better. It possibly would be. It possibly would be. Oh, I saw a buffer then. Why is it buffering? I hate this computer and the internet. Actually, I wonder if my wires are plugged in firmly. I could check that while I'm grabbing the thing. Grabbing me thing. Ah, that's what I was going to get. Right, calf. Oh, shit. That hurt. You guys and girls carry on discussing amongst yourself. Actually, I've got to check and make sure there's no postage labels on here. What is on the top? That is... I'm not sure what that is. It's a QR code of some sort, so I'm going to discreetly remove that. Oh, that has got my actual name and address. And there we go. So I'll show you the box first of all, because, well, ultimately we are an unboxing channel, so you should expect to see boxes from time to time. So this is the Thermaltake Ceres 330 TG ARGB mid-tower. It's available in 4 colours. Sorry, 3 colours. Although on this particular box, for some reason, it only states the 2. Sorry, I've got to bend down and do my shoelaces up. But unfortunately, my stomach's probably covering the microphone because I'm a fatty.
YouTube has changed again. I am getting a lot of hiccups since the last few days.
Yes, it's not good, is it? YouTube's doing some weird stuff. Anyway.
What were you going to say there?
Oh yeah. Actually, Matthew Day's in the chat, isn't he? Matthew Day, could you please post the link in the chat for the AliExpress 8-port 2.5 gig Ethernet hubs with 10 gig SFP connections on, please? Thank you. I remembered lots of words then.
I wouldn't have been able to find that.
I know. That's,
it
is posted. I think it's posted in Bargain's chat, possibly. Okay, so 140 fil. Oh.
Post it in the chat here.
Yeah, to click on. So I need to look at that. 140mm ARGB fans. You get 2 included at the front. Standard one in the back. It's available in the black version, which is the Series 330 TG
laser pointer?
ARGB, and the Series 330 TG ARGB Snow. But also it is available as the new Hydrangea Blue, which I don't know. Maybe you like Hydrangea Blue, maybe you don't. I don't know. But it's an option. On the side you've got the specifications there, so if you want to have a closer look at that you can do, although I could probably zoom in a little whilst this steak's trying to come back out. So yeah, not much information there that we can't really discuss anyway. So let's get this thing out of the box. Now I will say, before I actually get this out of the box, there is a big of a ding there and up here. So potentially this might have some damage to it. Unfortunately UPS, which is the local leg here, I'm not too sure if it's them or whether it's coming from customs or from DPD also get involved as well sometimes. But they do seem to be battering our parcels at the moment, or they actually quite often open them as well and then reseal them just to check that what is inside is actually what they say is inside or what it says on the box. So I've had numerous things come through which have been kind of opened and messed around with. So potentially this may have some damage, but we'll see.
Is there any way to heart at the bottom of the screen.
The what? The cart?
The heart.
No.
Because it's so annoying, it goes over the text of the message. Charles asked.
I don't
You can't read
you
the
can.
last message, can you? You've got to wait till it moves up one before you can read it. Because it covers half the message.
Yeah.
But if you had it up there, it doesn't matter as much.
I don't think you can, unless you put it into theatre mode, but then I think you lose chat. Yeah, I think it is one of those YouTube... actually there is some damage to this already. So I've taken the top off, and unfortunately we have a little bit of damage on the foam bit there, so that's had a bit of a knock. I'm going to put some sellotape on there a moment, just to try and keep that in place. These things are a pain in the backside, they really are.
I know, like the hobby isn't in it.
Yeah. Actually, just put that up right. And what I find with these actually, if you're somebody who likes repairing these types of things, if you take the tape and basically band it. If you go all the way around, it will secure it a little bit.
Matthew Day's put the link in now.
Ah, Matthew Day, right. So before I go on to this next bit, there's a link in the chat, I think, which Matthew's put up. So I am slightly concerned that it might be my switch which is playing up. So actually on AliExpress.
Poor old ugly Bob's ears are falling off now.
Where is it? That one there, I think. Is that the one? Yeah. So that is there. The high source 2.5 gigabit Ethernet switch with 10 gig SFP port. So 2.5 gig switches, generally if you're looking at the moment an 8-port one, you're going to be spending about 80 to 100 quid on one. So for 35 quid plus taxes, that is an absolute cracking deal. I am tempted to buy one, but then that won't necessarily tell me if the switch in the other room is bad, because everything is running through both switches. And without getting a 16-port version and running all the cables back to there, that is not going to happen, I don't think. So I think I might have to order 2 of those, but I don't really want to, because if they're both, if I get the same thing happening, I've wasted money on 2.5 gig switches.
And then use the one you took out and see if it made any difference.
I'll switch them over. Well, the one actually in here, I think, is only a 5-port. So I think that was a problem before. Yeah, so that was only a 5-port. So if I send... Oh, I can't do it, can I? Can you do it from there, Kath, and order it on AliExpress for me?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe later.
Maybe later. She needs a snooze first.
I don't know
We'll see.
how you pay and all that, do I?
You don't pay, you just get bobbed to buy it. I jest, although it's kind of true. Right, we'll sort it out later.
Can't be.
But I think I'm going to have to get one of those. They are a cracking deal,
You
and
need to sort my PC out so when I move Windows, it doesn't pause this screen because then I can never be up to date on it.
okay,
And I don't like switching out.
I understand. Right, so thank you, Matthew Day, for posting that one. So if anyone is actually after one of those 2.5 gig switches, it's going to get to a point soon where a lot of the internet is going to be, especially for home broadband, is going to be kind of 1 gig plus. Already they're bringing out 2 gigabit Ethernet here, or 2 gigabit broadband from Virgin Media in the UK. So if you are still using gigabit switches, you're not going to get the full bandwidth through to your system.
Why do you need more bandwidth?
To download things faster. And that's about the only reason. For some people it's useful. For video editing it's handy because you can transfer massive files, but then if you're not video editing it loses some of its appeal, I guess. Anyway, let's have a look at this case. Am I breaking things? No. Okay.
Yeah.
This is currently upside down. Upside down. It's booking it a doon. That's my attempt at Scottish. maybe Glaswegian. It's booking it at Doon. It's not Yorkshire.
So you get to the dang bit.
It's booking it at Doon. So, hang on. I didn't get a shock. Okay, let's put that back into place. So there we go. There is the Series 330. Thought I damaged it then. In the Arctic White.
You forgot to write top and bottom on it.
Oh yeah, I did actually. You're right. Well done.
That's down.
So if you look in the background, you'll see that is the Series 500.
Yeah.
It's a slightly bigger brother.
That was so Geordie.
So Geordie, thanks for that.
Today.
Today.
Yeah.
Today on the Big Brother House. Oh, that went into Scottish then. I can't do accents. I don't do comedy. I'm here to do serious tech stuff. Honest. So one of the things previously which people disliked about the Series 500, which a couple of people have said, it wasn't a universal thing, but some people didn't like it, and that was the fact that the kind of the snowplow scoop on the front here was a different colour, like an accent colour, which made it stand out more.
So Matthew Day said, is that a version of the one behind you?
Yes. Well, this is the smaller. So this is the Series 300.
Version.
That is this. Sorry, yeah, that's the Series 330, which is the same as the Series 300, and this is the Series 500. So the Series 500 is a slightly larger version of it. There's a few subtle differences as well. So Series 500 has got side-mounted ports there, which for us here is absolutely perfect. But with the Series 300 and the 330, you've got the front-mounted I/O. So you've got your reset button, you've got your your headphone jack, your microphone jack. You've also got a pair of USB 3.0s, and also you've got a dedicated USB Type-C, and also you've got your hard drive activity and your power LED, and a nice little power button. On the top there, removable filter with the mesh in there. I'm not sure the exact number, but in terms of the perforations on this, there are, I think it's almost 60% of the case is perforated. So in terms of airflow, it's pretty awesome. And if you think that the back is completely solid, so that is kind of getting on for nearly like 40% of the case, it is a very open design. Of course, you've got the glass as well. So yeah, the surface area wise, there's a lot of it which is actually ventilated. Now in the top, this is the thing which lets it down slightly for me, is the fact the top, you can fit in here a 280mm rad. You can put in 3 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans, but a 360mm radiator apparently does not fit. Now, I can't remember if I did this in a dream or whether I did it in real life. The two blur quite a lot. But did I actually try putting a 360mm radiator in this case at some point?
Not that exact case, the 300.
Oh, the 300. I don't know if I did or not. I think someone asked me and I tried it. And it kind of does fit, but it's a squeeze. And I think you have to take out the back fan.
And why have they got a black sticker on the fan?
Yeah, that is a Thermaltake thing, unfortunately. They are what they are. So side panel wise, you've got a tempered glass panel with a white surround. So fingerprint wise, you can grab it. You've also got the ventilation there by the power supply. For some reason, I don't know really why they put that there, but they do. This panel here is the same on the 500, I believe. So the 500 and the 300 and the 330, you can have the LCD panel there should you wish to. That is an expensive add-on for what it is, but I actually quite like it, but it needs to be cheaper. That's just me being honest. On the back, usual deal, so you've got 140mm fan in there. Something else they've done as well with this, they've now gone and used all silver screws. So the white version has silver screws, the hydrangea blue version has silver screws, the black version has all black screws. Also, something else which was a complaint previously, PCI Express blanking plates. Those previously were black, so you have black and white contrasts going on. So they've done all white on here. So the black version has black blankouts, the white The hydrangea blue, I think, has blue ones. And this whole section comes out as well. So we can unscrew this from the back. So if you want to do a vertically challenged GPU, you can just undo these screws. So take off the retention plate there, which is a little bit useless to be fair. And then you've got 4 screws on the back.
Rick really likes the ventilation holes.
There's a lot of ventilation here. The only thing which is a little bit weird is, yeah, the ventilation's a little bit odd, because in some areas you've got this hexagonal, but then the rest of it you've got circular. Now you have to look really, really close at those to notice it, but it is something which I picked up. So this bit comes out, and then you can turn that around. Is that in right? Yeah, that's the screw holes mount. So then you can have your vertically mounted GPU in there if you wanted to, which actually I quite like for some graphics cards. It's an interesting look. So that bit is kind of modular, so you can do what you want with that, which is all very good. And actually, when you've got it in this position, this bit also fits as well. So you've still got the screw holes to keep all that nice, clean look out the back there. It's one of those things which a nice design like that, although you think that it's so obvious, it's taken so many years for people to start doing it. The only downside being is if you've got a PCI Express Gen 4 graphics card, the riser cable that you need to connect to your motherboard is going to be round about, I don't know, anywhere between 40 and 80 quid, which is a lot of money for a cable, let's be honest. And generally 40 quid, depending on what graphics card you're buying, it could be the difference between buying a certain tier level card and buying the next one up. So yeah, that is something actually which I think would be a better thing to do, rather than having the 0 wire option, would be to maybe have a kind of universal vertical mounting system, so you don't need the expense of an additional cable. But I guess not many people do it anyway. So from the back side, we've got a 3 screw setup. So this just keeps it a bit more rigid. So you've got one in the middle there, top and bottom, and that just pulls back, and you can take that whole thing out. As with all the Thermaltake stuff, there is a grill there. There is normally an air filter there, which appears to have been shaken off in transit. So you've got a nice little mesh filter there. And I've got to try and remember how these go on now. So there is a little lugs at the back there, and that goes in there. Actually, it's the other way around, isn't it? No, actually that was right. Yeah, that just goes like that. I think on the other side, those clips actually fit in, but you can't do it the other way around because you can't bend it down underneath there. Anyway, we'll put that to one side for now. I'm not sure as well. I would think, well, it could just be because of aging and what have you, because obviously plastics and white stuff yellows. But I think they've actually done this in a more bright white. I'm pretty sure the original Series 500 when it came out was a slightly off-white. It wasn't like a brilliant white. Whereas this seems to be more of a creamy, this is more of a kind of appliance white. Whereas this 500 is more of a kind of, yeah, creamy, I wouldn't say it's beige, but it's kind of heading in that direction. Something else they've done as well, part and parcel, I guess, of they're acknowledging that people want to have cases which have that kind of nicer look to them. Sorry, it's,
David Underhill says the specs for case say 360mm in front only, 280 on top.
That is correct. That is what I said, yeah. Going along with the aesthetics thing, they've used white cables, which previously, if you had the black version, you had black cables. If you had the white version, you also have black cables, which for some people is a little bit off-putting. So they've made it so all the cables are white, although there's a ridiculous amount of ketchup and mustard coming out there from the HD audio cable, which is a little bit off-putting. especially when it sticks out like a sore thumb against all the other kind of brilliant white stuff. Let's get this out of the way. So you've got Velcro straps included, and there's going to be a bunch more actually inside as well in the accessories box. But we can already start to see here where the kind of the zero cable magic is starting to happen. So normally you would just have this cut out here for the GPU, the CPU backplate. So now we've got extra pass-throughs. So we've got a bunch more up here for passing through cables. You've got this one here. So this is likely to be where you're going to have your CPU fan connection, maybe your pump connectors. Obviously down this side here, you've got the choice. You can either use the pass-through for putting your ATX power supply through, or you can just plug it straight into the back of the motherboard here. So this is where your ATX is going to be, and probably your USB type Cs, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of nice that that is there available, and a bit further down they've got it. Unfortunately, because of obviously the motherboards being made differently, there's not really much you can do about this bit here, because this is actually a mounting area for ATX. So it's unlikely there's going to be anything there anyway. So if anyone's thinking, well, there's a big bit of metal there, there's also a mounting pillar for the motherboard. So there wouldn't be anything there anyway, because it would be conflicting with that. But otherwise, underneath that, so maybe your SATA ports, down this side, maybe a couple of more fan connectors. And of course at the bottom you've got things down here which is going to be, this is where your front I/O is going to be, because obviously motherboards the other side. USB 2s probably here, USB 3s maybe, HD audio is going to be passed through here. But you've also still got the holes underneath as well. So if you are, like I said, going with a traditional ATX motherboard, you've still got all your normal pass-throughs, and you've still got your nicely whited out rubber there, rather than being black. Dave, what are you doing? You can't climb up there, Dave. Dave's getting really excited. Let me pass you, let's see if I can. There's Dave. Dave!
Davey.
Get down! You can't do silent meowing. Anyway, right. Come on, get down, bird brain. Come on.
Let him see the case.
Have a look at the case, see what you think of the case. Is that nice? Does that give the Dave a seal of approval?
Otis.
Dave, you're so miserable. Right, can I, alright, you carry on watching yourself on TV for a bit. So, you've still got all the same mounting options here that you did with the previous version. So you can put two 2.5 inch drives on this removable backplate, or a single 3.5, which gives you some idea of how much room you've got actually going towards the back here. So have I got a 3.5 inch drive? Yes, I have. I have a 3.5 incher. So 3.5 inch drive. So that is going to mount onto there and still give you plenty of room for cable management as well. So you can get an idea of how much room there is actually to do your cable management there. All right, Dave? Dave want a hard drive? Polly want a cracker?
Come on, Dave, show him how to do it properly.
So yeah, all these have been nicely done in white. You've got your USB. That's actually pretty cool, the fact that the USB is, although obviously if you're plugging into the back anyway or down here, it's not going to make a great deal of difference. The reason why they had to give you a bit of extra room on here as well is because of, obviously, USB 3 headers, they're quite chunky, so you need a bit of a severe bend on there. So that's why you've got a little bit of extra depth in the back there. And we've got a super chat come in from...
You see what Fidgy
Can't
loves,
tell.
Dave.
Dave, trying not to have any type of seizure. Where are we? Why can't I click on that? I can't see that. Ah, there we go. Ugly Bob, thank you for that. Dave, he says.
Dave looking at you.
Hey, why did I could heart that. Why could I heart that? That wasn't there before. There's a heart thing on there. Didn't know I could do that before. Let me scroll up to the other one. Was that available previously? YouTube are messing with the program. Where was he? Where's the other super chats? All right, I won't show you them now. Scrolling. Nope, can't find it. What do you reckon, Dave? You liking? So SSDs, you can put SSDs here as well. So you've got removable racks.
Don't listen, Dave.
Don't listen, Dave, about removable racks. There are special clinics you can go to for that.
He wants the light on again. Look at him looking at it.
Dave wants the light on again. I'm sorry, Dave. I can't let you do that. Sorry, I pulled your tail then, didn't I? I was supposed to be pulling the keyboard and I pulled his tail. My apologies. So basement in the section. In the bottom, the basement area, you've got a nice little channel there for resting your power supply on to lift it up off this bottom section. You can also put a 120 or 140mm fan in the bottom as well to get a little bit more extra ventilation. Dave, do you want to come through the window? Let me undo that. You can stick your head through then. Oh, that one's a bit more than a thumb screw, that one, Dave. That one needs a bit more welly. Actually, I don't need to undo that one, do I? I don't need to do that. Oh, there we go. There you go. Dave, look! Look! Dave! £2, there's £2 and £10 there. Enjoy. What's that? Oh my goodness. Thank you, Ugly Bob, for the £2. Light. And thank you very much, Arali. £10 there. It says kiddie time. Disco Dave. He loves it.
Oh, Disco Dave.
Disco Dave's in the house on the Mub stream. There
Hold
we
on,
go.
Dave.
Sorry, Dave. You have some. You can. Oh, come on. I know. It can't stay on all day. No, it can't. It honestly can't. Go on, you stretch it out. Oh, you're going to sit there. Dave, you're right in the front of the camera lens there. You have to put it on cat ear auto detect. All right, let's try and get on with this. Oh, he's back. You gonna go in? What are you saying, Dave? Cables shouldn't be managed like that? No, they shouldn't be, should they? Dave knows best when it comes to cable management, don't you, Dave? No, don't eat the cable management. Do you like the Thermaltake tie wraps? Let's see if there's any more in the bag. We can maybe give you one to play with. Now, Thermaltake, if you're watching this for any reason, Thermaltake UK or global, if there isn't...
yeah, they're there.
Right. If Thermaltake is in the house, hello Thermaltake UK.
Anyway, flame, I can't see my
Now,
keyboard.
Dave is very, very keen on the Thermaltake tie wraps, aren't you, Dave? He likes the Thermaltake tie wraps. So if there's not additional Thermaltake tie wraps in this box, Dave's going to be upset. And I don't know if I like Dave being upset, so you've only got yourselves to blame if there's no cable tie zip wraps. You reckon, Dave? So if you're wondering how big a power supply you can get up to a Cat 9 power supply.
Cat 9.
Cat 9.
9.
Yeah,
It'll
it'll fit a Dave power supply in there very easily, which is always a nice thing to see. So, actually, I should open this on camera so there's no trickery afoot. So let's see, is there going to be Thermaltake branded cable wraps in the box? Oh my God, there isn't. Dave, I don't know what to tell you, mate. We are completely avoided. Although, fair play, they have put white or somewhat natural coloured zip ties in there. So those are going to have to do. So Dave. Oh my goodness, there we go. Go, Dave. He's excited for the Thermaltake zip ties. I understand them. So in our accessories bag, we've got a whole bunch of screws in here. You've also got something which, seriously, if you haven't bought one of these already, either buy a case or just spend some money and get one of these. This is a BIOS beep speaker. These are absolutely invaluable when it comes to building a PC, especially if you're a newbie. Get one of these, so when you realise that you can't actually power up your PC with a carrot, this is going to help diagnose what's going on with your PC. These are great. I'm so glad that Thermaltake are including those in the packaging. So also in there you get the standoffs and that kind of stuff. There's also some additional standoffs here. Those are for attaching your vertical GPU mount. So if you are doing the vertical GPU mount, you can spin this round, we'll have a quick look at that. So you've got little threads in there, which just give you a little bit of a close-up on those. So there we've got 3 mounting options. So obviously if your graphics card is going in that way, these little pillars, one each side, and then you attach your vertical mounting GPU cable to the top of here as a riser. Maybe we'll show you that when we do the installation video on this, when we get around to doing that. So yeah, inside wise, just so you can have a quick look in there. So in the back there, you've got the Thermaltake CT140 fan. That's a standard, just a white plain fan. Because Thermaltake don't love you enough to put 2 CT140 ARGBs in there. Swines. I jest. And in the front there, you've got the 2 ARGB versions, which I'm not sure if I'm correct in saying this. Maybe Adam, you can validate this one way or the other, but I'm pretty sure there is an option, or at least there might be an option for this case to come with just stock fans rather than ARGB fans. So like just normal white fans.
We love everyone, but we have to make money.
This is true. You do have to make some money. That is a fair comment. Right, let's get this line back up again. Where are we? There, I'll do. That's not bad. So, like I said, this panel comes out. So a couple of screws. This is actually really, I'll do it from the other side. I'll actually do it from the side. Sorry, let's do the ISO. Boop, boop. And recovering. There we go. Might be a little dark actually. It's because the light in here is not great. Actually.
Using the light remote for.
There we go. God, that one is so yellow. No, that's a little bit better lit. What was I going to say? Yeah, so pass-throughs, as you can see. So for your ASUS BTFs or your MSI Project Zeros, those are going to pass through there from the back. Alternatively, if you're just going with a traditional regular ATX case, ATX motherboard, then you're going to be passing through your normal holes down here at the bottom, or the rubberized grommets. Again, I think that's nice that they've done rubber there in the same color as the case. So if you are going with a BTF or Zero motherboard, that doesn't stand out like a sore thumb as being a pass-through, which could have otherwise been used. So that's pretty cool. And what I should say as well, all of the stuff they've done on this, including the fans, like the CT140 fans at the front, a pair of those, I'm thinking is somewhere in the region of about 30 quid at the moment from somewhere like Scan, maybe 25 quid actually. So 25 quid for a pair of fans, maybe another 8 to 10 for that one. So let's be looking at it being £30 worth of fans. So say a tenner each for the fans. The case itself is on pre-order at scan.co.uk. The links for that are in the video description. And this case is going to be £89.99 when it comes out.
Do you want to take the thing off the screen?
Oh yeah, sorry.
And also Thermaltake say all series cases come with 3 ARGB fans as standard and a non-ARGB for the exhaust.
Ah, okay. Kev2427 with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Evening folks, hope everyone is good. Here is a little something just because.
Dave.
Thank you, Kev, that's much appreciated.
He's still got his cable tie in the kitchen now.
He is out in the kitchen with the cable tie is Dave.
And Candy.
And Candy. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated, Kev. Did we send something out to Kev this week? Can't remember if we did. I think we did.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Well, hopefully it'll arrive soon if it hasn't already. Is that on the... Oh, clear. That's what I wanted. Clear. There we go. Thank you very much for that, Kev. What was I saying? Yeah, so the Series 500 in the background there, that comes with 4 CTE140 fans as standard, I think. I don't think I changed any on there. Adam, is that right? Did I or did I not? Does the Series 500 come with 4 140mm fans? I'm pretty sure it does. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so the front panels there, like I said, these are really great because if you're like me and you're one of those people that is constantly messing around with your PC and you're thinking, oh, I want to wire something up. Thanks.
You had more of the 500.
Ah, got you. Thank you. So this panel here, you can take this out. Of course, if you want to, like I said, you can put that LCD panel in there. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but it does look pretty cool.
You're doing splits?
I am, to get low enough. I am actually doing the splits here, so I can get low enough. I can't bend my knees, because if I bend my knees, I'll never get back up. Mind you saying that, if I keep on doing the splits like this, I don't get up anyway. So yeah, if you've got your PC, you've got everything set up, say for instance, you've just swapped out your graphics card, and you're like, oh crap, I need my 16-pin high power cable. You don't have to take all the back out or unplug everything, put the PC onto a desk. You can just undo a couple of screws here, and this is your access panel. So this is your quick access panel. It's solid as well. So you can undo that. That way your power supply is just there. You can grab your cables, you can pass them up through your pass-throughs there and plug them into your graphics card, and that is it. You don't have to move your PC. That is why I love the Series 500 up there in the background, because I literally do that all the time. I am forever taking it apart, doing things with it. If you want a little bit more access, if the factory hadn't done the screws up quite so tight, so these are on thumb screws as well. So you can remove that panel and you've got even more access. So if you want to plug in, maybe you've got a power supply, which is semi-modular or modular, and you haven't plugged in a cable. You're, oh right, just plug a cable in, put the wire in through, a little bit of cable management. Maybe you've got a fan in this area down the bottom, you want to dust it, you can do it. It's very easy to gain access to it. But at the same time, if you don't want to gain access, it doesn't look like there's anything too drastic going on there. It all fits in really nicely. And also you have got the filter on there as well. Again, I don't really understand why there is a grill there. Actually, Adam, maybe you can answer that. Why is there a grill on that part? It doesn't make a huge amount of sense, because if you had an RGB thing going on there, you wouldn't be able to really see it anyway. But I'm sure there must be a reason for it. But I don't know what that reason is. So with the bits on, again, just a couple of screws, and then put your door back on, put your side panel back on, and you're off to the races. Or to your flight sim or your CSGOs or whatever it is you want to do. So that is the side section. That's kind of exciting. I really do like this bit down the bottom.
More room for PSU to breathe.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. So let's take a look at the front section now, because this is the bit which I am very, very pleased with. So criticism was placed at this before, because this Thermaltake section here, the scoop as it's otherwise been known, was previously a different colour, contrasting colour. So now we've actually got it matching. So it blends into the design. So it's more conforming with the rest of the case, which I actually really like as well. So this section comes off. I've got to try and remember how this comes off now. There you go, that lifts off. So there's a grab handle on the bottom. Again, as with pretty much everything on this case, filtered up to the eyeballs. So a nice little filter, and even got a little angled bit on the bottom so it doesn't let any additional air escape up and into your case. And it's magnetic as well, which is great. And again, this is now plastic to match the rest of the design, so maybe a cost saving on there as well, which, hey, if you can save a few quid, then why not? I was getting confused then because the Series 500, actually, if I grab the Series 500 front panel, and I can give you a direct comparison then so you can see what it's like. So,
Rick really likes the look of the pattern of the holes.
They are quite interesting actually, aren't they? So Series 500, a little bit bigger, similar sort of design. And I failed at the first attempt there. There we go. So that's magnetic. You see there's not really a great deal of difference in it, but this front panel actually comes away, so you can probably see in the background now you've got this metal bit here which goes around the scoop, and you've got your three 140mm fans at the front there. I am wondering actually if there will be a Series 500 in the like a Series 550. If there's a Series 550, I would be very interested in that actually. So moving that out of the way temporarily. So fan wise, we've got the two 140s in here. Ouch, my fingers. You can put three 120s in if you want to. All pre-cabled, pre-managed in there as well. And you've got their daisy chainable fan setup going on.
It was colour matched feedback from community.
Yeah, I think the colour matched option I think is a definite winner. In terms of the actual design of this is fantastic. And actually, can I have a tape measure out a minute? I'm going to get a tape measure out. I want to see what the width of this is. Because if this will physically fit in my desk, the Lian Li 216 is going. Because I like this design a lot.
I think you're saying that, right?
24 and a bit. I think that's going to be a bit too wide. Ooh, 24 and a bit. It might just fit in there. Ooh. Okay, so this may actually be ending up as my my video editing rig.
I think Mike put something in the scoop of the PC case in the background.
I did. Yes.
He asked us to remind him.
There was. I did in the last stream. I put in here the GPU rising bracket thing, the GPU adjuster screw support bracket, and that PC actually sold this week, which is great because it's given me a bit more room, which is always a nice thing to have. You can never have enough room. Trust me on that. So yeah, there we go. There is that. What else do I need to show you? Oh, the bottom. So on the bottom, something else they've done, which I think this is actually based on community feedback as well. I can't remember if it was on the last one or not. But you've actually got the front filter. So you can take that out from the front. I think the last one you had to take it out from the back. Am I right in saying that, Adam? Or is that on the 500? I have to try that now. 500. Oh no. Oh, stuck.
All that dust in it.
No, I think there's a screw hanging down. Right, I can't pull that out, but that is under there, so that is front mount removable. I've never had to take it out, to be honest with you. It's very rare to get any dust under there, although saying that, the cat's been sleeping there, so you never know. Yeah, that's stuck on something. But anyway, so yeah, front pull-out filter. That is very nice. And again, if you want to, you can stick one of your CT140 fans, or you can stick in there.
Filters out front in those type of cases.
So you can stick in a fan there if you want to. A little bit of extra airflow from underneath, which if you maybe got some drives in there or something going on, could be useful. Or if you just want a little bit of RGB underglow. But the option there for 120 or 140s, the CT140 ARGBs in white, come in a twin pack. I'm pretty sure they're about 25 quid at the moment on scan. So if you do want to get some of those, you can do. And that's the nice thing, you can use these on radiators, you can use them on CPU coolers, you can use them as just normal case fans, intakes, exhaust, whatever you want to do. So if you like the design of these, which I think most people probably do, it's a nice, well, you can see them in the background. There's a really nice glow from them, they work very well, they're very quiet, do a fantastic job. They are in the video description if you want to purchase some of those, either the 140s or they do the 120s as well. And have I got the black ones here as well? I think I have got the black ones. Got the, if you go for the black version, you've got the black 120s.
How many can you run on the controller board, Mike?
There isn't a controller board in here. Doesn't need one, because these are all daisy chainable, so you can daisy chain them all together. I probably wouldn't go more than, I don't know, I think I've had 6 go before on one header. But to be honest with you, I would probably, if you're looking at doing 5 to 6 fans, maybe 8, I would probably just buy a little hub anyway. We did a video actually not long ago on an ASUS ROG lookalike hub, which was like 6-7 quid. For the sake of 6 or 7 quid, if you want that peace of mind of the extra power, then grab those and knock yourselves out. But anyway, there you go. So you've got the CT fans. Oh, that's the 120s. Or 140s, eh?
Says great support from the TT stroke scan. Had to replace the IO on case and sent replacement through under warranty. TT.
Yeah, Thermaltake for some reason, in some areas, in some forums, they do get a bashing, and I don't really understand it. Now, I'm probably somewhat biased because obviously we do work with them and they send us stuff and we've got a good working relationship. But even prior to that, I've had Thermaltake products before, back in the early days when the orb coolers were out, and we always had really good support from them then when I was working at M Squared, and computer industry was very different from what it is now. This was like in the early 2000s, the very early 2000s, like 9/11 kind of era. So yeah, it's a funny old game.
Did I say Nick Berry there?
Nick Barnes, I think you said. You might have said Nick Berry.
Mark Berry says he bought some of those copies we talked about last week, but then he put in Nick Berry and EastEnders.
Nick Berry's in EastEnders, yeah. He was Wixie. Another slight change on here, which actually I prefer over the 500, is the top mount. So with this, you've just got 2 clips which click into there, and you've got magnetic. Whereas on the 500, you actually have to undo some screws at the top, and then you have to slide the whole thing off, which is a little bit of a kerfuffle if you just want to clean something, especially if you haven't got a lot of room. You probably can't see what's going on there, but it does have its pros and cons because you can actually mount fans above if they're extremely slimline. And in the bag with accessories, you get the extension for the fan, and I'm pretty sure the RGB one is already in there somewhere. Yeah, there's an RGB extension in there already, so it's kind of ready to go. I like it. I really do like it. The whited out element of it, I think they've pulled off very well. And of course, if you don't want to have one of those 0 pass-through designs, then you don't have to. And actually, that was what I was going to do. I was going to see if because they say that you can put 3 120mm fans in the top here, and I really want to put a 360mm radiator in here, because I don't like a front mounted radiator, because I don't want to do a 360 rad. Hello?
Can you see your screen?
Yeah.
Thermaltake?
Oh, I can't see that screen. Thermaltake. Nick Barnes, I sorted that for you. Is that the one?
No, Dane. This will be a great review.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there is going to be a review on this case when Thermaltake have arranged us to borrow a ASUS BTF motherboard and a graphics card and a processor as well. So we've got a whole bundle, which we're going to stick in there and take it through its paces. I'm actually really looking forward to doing a 0 cable management build setup thing. I'm not sure if the graphics card is also one of those ones that has the extra PCI power going through the motherboard. If it is, that's going to be quite interesting. But also potentially you could put Thermaltake out of business because they sell power supplies with PCI Express Gen 5 power cables. Which actually, it looks like NVIDIA will be mandating those for the next 6000 series. Or sorry, the PCI Express Gen 6 cards. Let me see, where is it? There we go. So I'm going to grab one so you know what it's all about. So if you are building a PC, a new PC, and you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, it seems that AMD are actually still being very hesitant on the whole 12 pin thing. So this is the 600 watt 16 pin, or 12 plus 4. So you've got 12 pins across there, then you've got 4 sense pins as well. So it knows which it's what it's doing.
Says the Series 330 TG hydrangea blue case on Amazon, $110. Very nice colour.
The Amazon pricing for the case, we had a look earlier, and the Amazon pricing looks to be completely out of whack. So if you're looking at this and you're looking at the Amazon links that we've put in the video, those are not really going to be relevant yet, because I am almost 100% sure that those are incorrect prices. Actually, Adam, if you're still in the chat, if you wouldn't mind, can you confirm the pre-order price from scan.co.uk is the official UK price for this at $89.99?
Thermaltake saying no, it won't. The additional PCIe power on VGA will be out later this year.
I didn't understand that, I don't think.
I don't.
I'll read that. No, it won't. The additional PCIe.
I don't know if that's to you or...
Right, okay. That'll only be on high-end boards, not the B series. Yes. Okay, that's cool.
That's the official price.
That is the official price. So yeah, for $89.99 for this, with those very, very cool fans, and the possibility of doing the whole inside-out, back-to-front business. The only thing is really, I think the motherboard manufacturers, such as MSI and ASUS, Gigabyte, ASRock, etc., they really need to pull their fingers out a bit and actually, well, primarily agree on a spec, but also to get these boards to market, because as far as I know at the moment, there's only maybe 4 boards which are even planned, which is a little bit crap really for this new specification. But then again, ultimately, for people like Thermaltake, which are starting to bring this to the market, it's no big loss, because essentially the bits that are cut out are, well, I suppose you could look at it as a weight saving. There isn't that much really extra needed to be done. You're basically just cutting out some extra holes to allow the pass through. So in terms of case manufacturers, there's not a huge amount that needs doing, just a little bit of retooling to be done and a slight weight reduction. But I think what they've done with the paint job, and also this plastic section now being all uniform in colour, I think it looks great. I really do. I wasn't a huge fan of the Series 300 because of the scoop and the lack of ability to put a radiator in the top and that kind of stuff for the larger ones. So my natural thing was to gravitate towards the 500 because it gave you the extra flexibility. But for some people, the 500 still might be a little bit too big, and I completely understand that. So if we can put a 360mm radiator in here, I am basically sold. So I think that is what I'm going to try. I'm going to take my my jacket off now because it's getting rather warm in here.
It'd be nice to sit lit up if you could. And also,
okay.
Mark Berry took his almond coffee to work, and one of his colleagues wants to buy some.
Hey, if you like the coffees that we demonstrated in last week's stream, please, if you can, as a little bit of a thank you for us to introducing you, if you wouldn't mind buying them from our Amazon links, we would very much appreciate it. A little bit of a kickback on that would be fantastic. Right, I'm going to light these fans up so you can see what they look like. So I'm going to grab a power supply momentarily. And because we don't have a lot of room on the table, I'm going to grab the SFX 850 watt. Then we get this thing powered up. I'm going to need a little hub. So what have I got here? I actually sent one of my hubs back because I think I burnt it out. That hasn't got a controller. So that isn't much use. So I'm going to have to go with this thing. Now the controller I'm going to be using is this crappy GameMax thing. It's got absolutely awful PWM control, so the fans are going to sound like frickin' jet engines. But hopefully it won't be too distracting and put you off your cup of tea or your pint of vodka, whatever it is you're drinking. Let me know actually in the chat, who's having a pint of vodka? Because if you are, hats off to you. That's kind of impressive. Let's grab ourselves a power cable. And actually it's probably a good idea as well to mention at the moment, there are the RTX 4070 Super Edition. The Founders is actually available in stock at the moment. If anybody wants to grab one, they're available from scan.co.uk. There is actually a link in our Discord as well. So if you want to pick one up from there, that would be, well, be very grateful. Hayden Trent's on Orange Fanta. Mark Berry says having one of those Irish coffees.
360 at the front.
360 at the front. Well, I think you can put a 360 in the top. I think it's doable. If you take the fan out the back, I think it can be done. We will make it so. Where's my jumper? So we're going to need some SATA power. And we will need some fan output. And I think we'll have a little bit of RGB as well.
Beanies link is affiliated.
The Beanies link is affiliated.
Is the link affiliated? Which one is he talking about?
Well, actually, Andy was asking about that on the Discord chat about the affiliate links. The scan link and the overclockers links that I posted in the Discord earlier on today, they're all affiliated links. So we are affiliated now with Scan and overclockers.co.uk and also CCL, but well, yeah, CCL. What can you say? God rest them. Boom. There we go. We are lit up. And they are currently going at Mach 12. Let's see if I can change that. I think I can.
I think they're still playing with that cable tie, you know.
They might be. So there are the CT140s. Sounding like a jet engine at the moment. So this PWM controller isn't really a PWM controller. It's kind of bad in that regard. But obviously that's the fans I use in the PC behind me, so they don't normally sound like that. So we'll unplug that for the terrible noise.
Are you okay?
I will slurp that in a minute. Slurp my tea a moment.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know why I turn that on. So, anyway, there you go. That is what it looks like lit up. I think she's a beaut.
Where's your cable tie, Dave?
And where is my on-off button? For the on-off button. There we go. So, a bit of darkness. So you can appreciate the glow. And if you don't like unicorn puke, so you can have your reds, you can have your greens, your blues, your whatever that was. I know that's a fan one. Not much else you can do on this controller actually. So actually we could have hydrangea blue. It's not really hydrangea blue though, is it? That's more of a Is there even a blue in there? That's not quite hydrangea blue. But I guess it's not a million miles off. Let's go back to the unicorn puke. Stick the lights back on. And yeah, I think that is a relative success. So, ooh, pretty colours. We like pretty colours in Mike's unboxing. We do like pretty colours. I think it's good because, like, some people, it depends what you do. If you go out and about and you go places and your life is full of colourful things and pretty things and what have you, then that's great, that's awesome. So maybe you don't want your PC to be an actual living beacon of electrical RGB intrusion. But for some people, like if you don't go out a lot, your PC and your PC setup is your pride and joy, then yeah, why not have a little bit of colour on it? As always, it's one of those things that it's a personal preference, so if you want to enjoy RGB on your PC, yeah, cool, go for it. If you don't, again, that's cool as well. Tempered glass side panel, nice thick piece of glass there. That's actually one of the things which I would have liked to have seen on this, which is on the Series 500, is the old swing out door. I use that, oh my god, so often. So that is nice to have. But this has a kind of clip on, and then you've got your screws on the back, which is okay. And actually, because the screws kind of match up, so all down there, it all looks kind of nice and uniform. I wouldn't say necessarily a complaint, but I would have liked to have seen a flip out door, and preferably one without a handle. So maybe have some sort of toggle button down the bottom, so you press it and it pops back out. I think that would have been very nice. Have a swing out door on there. But I suppose like anything, it adds to the price. I think it's done, I think this is done pretty well. I think Thermaltake are on to yet another winner. I actually don't know what the sales numbers have been like for the Ceres range of cases. I'm assuming they've been very, very positive because there have been very, very few reductions in price. So you would assume that if the price is kind of holding pretty steady, you would assume, rightly or wrongly, that they're selling okay. But what do I know? And I never get these things to go on right or go back in the box correctly. You'd think with all the years of experience of unboxing and potentially reboxing, that I'd be pretty good. Or is it just the fact that the box design isn't great? Let's try that. That could be actually why the outer carton got a little bit smacked up. Like I said before, if anything, we are absolutely 100% honest about all the things we say about these things. So, just say it as it is. Yep, cool, that fitted in there very nicely, so I can chuck all that stuff back in the box. Ready for the motherboard and other bits and pieces to come, hopefully towards the middle of next week. That'll be absolutely great. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts? $89.99, is it the right price? I think it possibly is. I'm not going to try the 360mm rad in there because it will fit. But there's going to be some things you're going to have to move, such as the rear 140mm fan. That's going to have to come out. So maybe you want to, I don't know. Let's have a look, see what you guys are thinking and saying about it. Skystalker says you get a lot for your money with that case. I would agree. Let's go back up. I've missed loads of this chat. Skystalker says we have cannabis drinks in Canada. Who needs vodka? Fair enough. Is the link an affiliate? Oh yeah, we went through that. A letter says haven't had any alcohol in a little over a year. Is that a choice thing, or is that a health thing, or whatever? Oh, carnivore. Yeah, of course. Skystalker says, does the rear fan light up? Unfortunately not. No, as I said earlier, Thermaltake, they don't love us enough to have a RGB fan in the back as well. They do love us all, really. Just, it's one of those things that if they added that extra fan in the back, I guess it's going to be an extra 10 quid on the price, realistically. I'm not too sure what the justification is for it. And actually, I'm kind of interested to know what the price difference would be to actually go with the another addressable RGB fan in the back. I think it's probably going to be tricky because normally they come in packs of 2. So they don't sell them as individuals. I guess as a company, I can't imagine that they actually, as a company, get a pack of 2 fans, literally take them out of the box to put them into a case. I'm reasonably sure they would have a basket or bucket or like an OEM version which they use to put in the cases. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Be interesting to see what their factory is like. But yeah, if you want a little bit of light in the back, unfortunately you are going to have to buy another set of fans, which is 25 quid for a pair. They don't do them singly, which is a shame actually. If they did them singly, it would be pretty cool. But they do seem to want to do them in these twin packs, which I don't know. I think personally, a triple pack and a single pack would have been the way to do it, because like if you're, they're going to hate me for doing this, but whatever. So if you want 4 fans, kind of your choice is 2 packs like that. Whereas if you're going with Corsair, then you got the choice of either like a 3 pack and a single pack. So if you want 4, you can do that. If you want 3, you can do that. If you want 2, you can buy 2 of those. Whereas with this, you're kind of stuck into buying 2 if you maybe only want 1. I guess it's like anything, you can always find somewhere to put a fan if you really need to. Ah, there's my other pack.
Right, Dutch Jam, is there room to put the fans in the front mounting? You might have answered already.
Is there room for... Sorry, is there room fan...
To put the fans in front for mounting.
Oh, what, in front of the metal grill? Like the mounting section?
Tony Ward says, have you seen the LCD PC fans? They can display GIFs as they spin.
I have seen those, yeah. They're quite mad.
What
when it comes to the fans, mounting them in front of that metal bracket, I don't know. If Adam's still in the chat, be good if he could answer that for me. I didn't have... I've put it in there now, so I can't really easily take it out. I don't think... Yeah, because that was the other thing about the Series 500. The front fan bracket is reversible, so you can either have fans in front or behind, or if you shift it back you can add more onto the front as well. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'll try and answer that question in the full review for the mounting of the fans in additional places. I don't think you can put them any further forward. I'm not sure if there's going to be enough room for that. Let's forward on. Oh, James Miscellaneous is with us. No sun this weekend. I was sick all week, getting better. Sorry to hear that, James. There's a lot of it about at the moment. It's that time of year where all that overindulging over the Christmas and holiday periods kind of catches up, unfortunately. Your body says, right, okay, I've had enough. Time to detox. You're going to be ill for a bit. All right, Kath? Mm-hmm. That's the way it works. Where did I get that from? There. Can you get the remote on your fans and turn them onto the lower speed? Sorry, I pressed the thing on my... Actually, I might be able to do it on here. There we go.
You done it?
No, you did it. The sound of silence. There is something to be said for quiet PC fans. And?
Quiet lights.
Kath's turned off all her RGB.
I always did from the beginning. You kept turning them on.
You can tell we're not related.
Hey, Flame. I want to go out.
Thank you for the tea, Kath.
You're welcome.
Let's check these away.
Not very nice like that, is it?
Oh.
It's not very nice. But you're going anyway.
Did I do the review of that JF100 RS? I did, didn't I? Sorry, just checking. Right, let's have a look. Alessa says, way to go, Kath. Don't encourage her. She doesn't need encouragement. Let's get this around here. So, Skystalker says, one RGB Thermaltake fan is rather cheap, about 18 Canadian dollars for 3. I'm not sure which ones those would be in a 3-pack. I hope it's not SWA fans. Rick H says, the price is right, besides how often do you swap cases? Yeah, actually, I used to swap cases actually considerably more frequently than I have done of recent times. The Series 500 up there now has been there since I got rid of the Techwear VXR. I don't think there was anything after the VXR. I think it went straight to the Series 500, and that's been there probably maybe 18 months now. Not too sure how long the Series 500 has been out for. It's got to be a year. Not too sure. And yeah, the Lian Li 216 I've got over there as my editing PC. That I probably would have changed more frequently if it wasn't for the fact that it's one of those cases where it's like the perfect size to fit in where it actually goes into the little cubby hole next to my computer. Next to my, oh, you know what I'm trying to say. Someone knows what I'm trying to say. Please. Is that charged yet? That's close enough. I actually realised I bought this phone ages ago to do a review on it, and I actually never got around to doing it. So this would have been, that's probably a year ago, because didn't I loan this to Angel's boyfriend to go away on holiday for her birthday?
Was it her birthday one? Or
Can't remember. Anyway, so I think this is the Nokia C32. I think. It's been so long since I bought it, it's just basically been sat up on a shelf collecting dust, literally. And it's been up there so long that the battery actually went flat. Now, whether or not I left it on or not, I'm not entirely sure. But I haven't... The Nokia ringtone. How I missed the Nokia ringtone. Why did Microsoft basically screw that up altogether? Like, Nokia were an amazing brand back in the day. Then they become less good because everyone else kind of went on to various other things. And then Microsoft bought them. And then you had the Microsoft Lumia phones, which I absolutely adored. And I would quite happily use one today if they still ran and were still available. But, oh, pin required. I have no idea. It's probably a default. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrong pin. Shit. Wrong pin. What did I set the pin to?
Did you set it?
I don't know.
It could have been Angel's
It's been so long. Oh,
How many numbers is it? 5?
4. I got it. That was close. This is a slow-ass phone. It really is. But it's very cheap. It's less than £80 here in the UK. And I think it's like a 3 gig phone.
How is the mini ITX build coming along?
How is the... Yeah, that's a very good question. Oh, look at the lag on that. You see the screen lagging. I know it's only just booted up, but... Oh. Anyway, I digress. The mini ITX build, I basically have not done anything more on it at all. which is terrible really. I should have got it up and running. I was thinking about this week, this last week and the week previous, and actually the last couple of weeks really, since Christmas, it's just been a real struggle to get anything done. We've got various things going on. The cats are quite active, and it's quite off-putting for me, and it's off-putting for Kath as well, because she's got to try and entertain them or look after them whilst trying to do the video in and all that other stuff. So yeah, it is quite difficult. So
if the weather was nice, it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, I'm praying for the spring to come, so the cats will just go outside, be tired out, and go sleep in the sun, and leave me to get on and do what I need to do. And hopefully those things will those will get better.
They don't seem to mind it.
Kev says, did the stream cut off? Don't think so. Nope, still 0 drop frames. It could be the internet. I'm not ruling it out altogether.
Says, I miss my Microsoft phone. Too bad it was only 3G.
Yeah.
Mine's only on 3G now.
The Microsoft... Andy Archer says 0000. No, it wasn't quite that bad. Stream is good in Canada. Thank you, Sky. Sky says, Thermaltake TLC12CW-S fans are 17 Canadian dollars and 17 cents for a 3-pack on Amazon. I did see it buffer again then. And again, why is it buffering? Stop buffering, you absolute useless sack of stuff. I am going to have to rewire the house so I can see it happen. Yeah, it's buffering again.
Mine isn't though.
No buffering here. How are you getting a buff? Well, on the screen, actually, I'll show you what it is. Desktop stream. Hopefully, you can see that. So I've got the video preview here, which actually wonder. Yeah, auto. I'm going to put it down to 240.
It was not the internet. I switched to Brave browser about 15 minutes in June. I don't know what.
All right.
To a letters urging, and I've had no problem since.
Ah. So maybe it is something to do with the Brave Google. Wouldn't surprise me.
But then YouTube's Google, isn't it?
Yeah, but then why would they want to get people off of it? Because that's their bread and butter. Oh crap! I didn't want to do that. Oh, that's right. It was back. Now I've got a black screen. Have I broken it? Oh no, there we go. We're back. Okay, good stuff. William Bodie says, stream is shite in North Germany, chat on the PC, video and audio on the smartphone. What browser are you using? Are you using Google Chrome? Or are you using Edge? Or are you using Brave? Be interesting to see. For all of you that are actually having no buffering issues whatsoever, let us know in the chat what browser you're using. That would be...
Stream is buffering for me, and so is my Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently I'm getting 700 megabits over Wi-Fi. Virgin are lying to me.
Yeah, the trouble is with the internet is the speed of your internet actually doesn't have a great deal of bearing on the quality of the streaming, because you can have a really good burst of speed, but if it's not consistent, you're going to get buffering. So Rick's a letter's on Brave here with no buffering. William Bodie says, I use Google Firefox. That, yeah, I see what you mean. I use Firefox, so Rick hates on Firefox. But Rick said is gonna be okay, or is it not? Dom says, I'm on Edge, nothing with me. Firefox seems to be a common thread for buffering. Dutch Jan, no buffering here in Brave. Kev's on the YouTube app on the iPhone. Okay. Danmar's on Libra Wolf. Charles Ballard says, I've been swearing by Firefox for years, but now I think it's going to be Brave from here on out. I think I might have to make the switch to Brave myself, actually, to see what the deal is. I've actually got it installed, I think, on... What PC have I got it installed on? I think it's on that one. Or is it on that one? No, it must be that one. I saw it. I was messing around with the PC the other day, and I was like, oh, Brave browser. I remember installing that. Oh no, it was the CTE E600MX when I was doing the test on there. I had Brave installed on there. So maybe I'll have to try it. Welly Bob says, no buffering here on phone, PC, Opera, all okay. Thank you. Skystalker says, what the heck is Brave? Something the cool kids are using now? Brave is just an open source browser, which is allegedly doesn't track you, stops cookies, is secure and all that kind of good stuff. Whether it is or not, I honestly don't know, but a lot of people do say that it's a very good browser to use. The thing is, it's not, well, in terms of the actual program, I guess, yeah, great, it's a fantastic idea. But if you're still using Google services, you're still going to have some element of tracking. But if it works better, then hey, why not? James Miscellaneous says, I'm using Netscape Navigator. Remember that. David Under says, Chrome plays perfect on 4K monitor. Firefox sucks. That's hard to say. Firefox sucks on a 1440p monitor at 720p. Very strange. Skystalker says Nutscrape. Nutscrape Navigator. Sounds like a lady of the night.
Kev's asked a question.
Kev says, the case you sent me out, do you remember if it has a hub to control the fans? Just know if I need to order from before Wednesday. I can't remember in what case it was.
Tuesday, but yeah. Thought I'd read that
wrong. Yeah. I can't remember which. Oh, the V350.
Didn't know if you
Yeah,
saying it out loud or
I just remember which one it was. I honestly can't remember. Kev, I'm going to have to work on that one.
Remind him.
I'm trying to think what fans are actually in there.
If he doesn't come back to
Yeah,
remind him.
I can't think. It's been a while. Yeah, remind me tomorrow after I finish work, and I will look. It's probably going to be worth getting a hub, I think. So there isn't a hub in there that I can recall, but I'm pretty sure the fans are possibly daisy chainable. But it's a while since I used it, so I'm not too sure. Yeah, order a hub. If you get one of those
Affiliate ones.
Yeah, actually, yeah. If you haven't got a motherboard with a controller on it, get a hub. If you don't have a motherboard that's got a controller on it, then you get a hub with a built-in controller. Confusing. Andy Archer says, Tor browser, anyone? I've never been brave enough. See what I did there? That's quite good for me. Jesus, this is hot. Oh yeah, sorry. Switch to front camera, I forgot all about that. I was looking at the preview as well, thinking, that's interesting.
I was looking at you, so it's the same as looking at the screen.
Thanks for that. What was I going to say? Dutch Jan says, I only log into YouTube for this stream. Oh, bless you. Thanks, Welly Pop. Right, what else was I going to say? Can't think what it was I was going to say now. There's many things that I had to say. What time is it? There was something else which I had really important on. What does it say on the board?
What there?
Done that. Portable monitor. Oh, I wrote that on twice. Bob's portable monitor, and then I put the model name above it in a different place, so I can cross that one out. I've done one of those. Thermaltake Tower 300. Oh yeah, we've got the Tower 300 coming as well very shortly. Thermaltake's Tower 300, which is I think it's a micro ATX. It might be an ITX. I'm not sure. I think it's a micro ATX.
It's candles.
Hello, Candy. What are you doing? Hello, Otis.
Oh.
And they're gone.
You busy?
That was quick.
Are you busy?
He's busy. He wants to go and have a bit of food, I expect.
What are you doing?
Cats. Rick H says, I like that one too. It's the cats that attract. It is.
That one is too.
Andy Archer says, is it bigger than the 200 by much? I'm not entirely sure, because the Tower 300 has a new front panel design. So rather than being a flat panel in like a traditional kind of candy floss machine style design, it's got a more angular front. So it's more of a hexagonal shape. So size-wise, I'm not too sure. I've not seen it. We'll see what it's like. Dom says, why are we looking at the desktop view and not your lovely face? Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, well, you should be looking at me now. Hello. I'm still here. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to look at the poll now. Might as well close the poll. If you haven't voted in the poll now, it's probably is a good time. There's Dave. Dave, come and save the channel. Dave?
What's the results of the poll, Dave?
Right, please don't. That's a USB-C cable. Those are important. If it was a micro USB, you could have it. Gladly. Hey, don't press play. Dave. He is a lovely cat. He's got a wonderful temperament, haven't you, Dave? And he's very inquisitive and he likes tech. He loves tech. He'll sit there for hours watching videos. He's doing it now. Look, who's that?
I'm not sure I understand.
I was talking to Dave, not Siri. Go F yourself. Dave, look, it's you on TV. There you are. Dave. You've not been cleaning your eyes out, have you? You've got to look after yourself. You hairy mop.
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh, bless him. Andy Archer says, any upcoming tech you would like to review, Mike? That is a very interesting thing. It seems to me that the tech market in itself has become very, very stale. And I don't know, there's nothing that really is like super exciting. Now the Series 330, that's interesting, and I think they've done a really good job in terms of kind of taking a design which was good and making it better, which rarely happens these days. If like most Mark II designs generally aren't as good, and when it comes to films, normally the second film isn't as good as the first. So congratulations, I think, to them for that. I'm kind of interested in the hydrangea blue colour of it, if I can get one of those, but I don't know. That is a little bit too much out there, I think. Dave, that is a Booley's chair. Do not destroy it. You're not a tiger. You're a little pissant cat. Get down!
He's not, he's a baby snow leopard.
Snow leopard, get down. Welly Bob says, do you ever think you'll switch to OLED for a monitor? I very much doubt it. I don't think so. In terms of how much they cost, I probably wouldn't. And in fact, actually, this week I have changed monitor. So I've gone from a 28-inch 4K monitor, IPS, 60 Hz. So I've now got the Thermaltake TGM-i27Q, I think. The Thermaltake 27-inch 1440p, 165 Hz. And the sRGB color is freaking awesome. For editing videos and for just watching films and content, sRGB color is amazing. And I quite often find myself the last couple of days when I've been using it going from my screen over there to this one, and the color accuracy of this is just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. The reds are oversaturated, it all just looks like a mess. Whereas I sit in front of that all day and it's like, I keep on thinking to myself, actually, I'm watching it, and I look at YouTube as well, the YouTube logo or any red logos, go to a website like CX where it's like loads of red, and I just look at it and go, that is very pleasing colours. And there's a lot to be said for that. Although the 4K resolution is better, obviously, not having the colour accuracy is a massive, massive change. So yeah, it's been very good. OLED, I think if the price gets better and it didn't have the things like this, the burn-in and all that kind of stuff as a potential hazard, I think I would be more tempted, but for me at the moment, I think IPS is absolutely fine. I don't really arguably pay that much attention to the monitor to that extent that OLED would be beneficial. Like, I watch the occasional movie or TV program on Amazon, that sort of thing, but generally if I'm doing it, I'm kind of like multitasking, so I may be having some food or I'm answering some questions, so I've got like the YouTube questions on one side of the screen, I've got a movie or a video on the other side, so I'm not really fully immersed in it. And I think last night was the first time in weeks that I actually sat down after about 11 o'clock or so last night and actually played some CS2 on the new screen, and it was like, yes, this is really good. So I think if I had an OLED, I wouldn't get the benefit of paying that extra money. Whereas with IPS, it's a really nice sweet spot, so you don't have to pay crazy amounts of money, but you can still get relatively good color accuracy and still actually quite decent blacks. And actually, in fact, I would say for gaming purposes, an OLED's probably worse in some aspects, because in a lot of games, you want to boost the shadows so you can see what's going on in the shadows, whereas OLED is going to be completely black or off where it's supposed to be dark. Whereas most gamers will turn up the brightness so they can see in those darker areas in case someone's hiding now or there's a piece of treasure or whatever it is. So I think OLEDs for gaming, in terms of response time, obviously absolutely fantastic. You can't beat it. But in terms of actually its usefulness in a gaming scenario, I would say it's possibly going to be slightly harming to the gameplay in some instances, especially like darker games like your Tomb Raiders and that sort of stuff, or zombie games where it's nighttime. Lots of things are going to be lost in that darkness, where you're going to normally want to increase the gamma or the brightness. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day. I would like to try one to see what they're like. Welly Bob says, colour is key, why OLED appeals and why I can't go back to BS LCD based. Oh, back to LCD based. Yeah, I think it's, you could do with like having, if you've got a multiple monitor setup, it's probably really good, because then you can have like one monitor which is dedicated to those tasks where it needs color accuracy, but then you've got another monitor which is like a fast gaming monitor. You don't necessarily want to combine the two for some fast action games or some darker games. I don't know. I suppose that's just my opinion, and you're all entitled to your opinions, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to use it for. Dom M says, question, have you sold the PC from last week? How much was it and with what specification? Yes, it finally went this week. I did take a reasonable hit on it. So in the end, how much did we do it for? Kath, was it 7? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so it went for £700 in the end. So I think we originally priced it up as being, it would have cost to build about 1,000, and I think someone in the chat said stick it on for 1,000, maybe take 9 for it, and it just was not moving. That ARC A770 was just killing it for people, I think. So spec wise, it was a Thermaltake Ceres 300 case in black, a ASRock Intel ARC A770 8GB graphics card, the Phantom Gaming, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a Phantom Gaming. 1TB NVMe drive. I think that was a Crucial P3 Plus, so quite decent. PCI Express Gen 3 with additional cache. The processor was a Intel 13500. Motherboard was a B760 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. Nice board. The CPU cooler was a Silentium PC, I can't think of the model, but it was like a 240mm AIO. G-Skill RAM, 16 gigs, Trident Z RGB. What else was in there? Oh, the GPU mount, which was stuck in there. trying to think what else was in there. Was that it? Probably is it actually. Oh, power supply as well was the BM Smart 750, I think. But yeah, price-wise, I priced up again actually just before I sold it. And if you were to buy all those individual parts as new, it would cost you over £1,000. Obviously, some of the things we got for review purposes, the case, the power supply, the case, power supply, what else was there? There was something else as well we had. Oh, the cooler. So basically the cooler, the case and the power supply zeroed that out. And yeah, £700 minus what we've got to give to the tax man for taxation purposes. So that is basically a third, or is that a third or a quarter you take off?
I take a third.
Gaff takes a third of that off, so £700, a third of that is £233. Well, £233 and 33 pence ish. So that would be £477 is what I get to keep out of that deal, which is not great, really, if you think about it. Ah, dear. So there was the option there that I said for $750 I'll do it with the RTX 3060 Ti, and they decided that they wanted to save the money. So in some ways I'm kind of glad, but then the A770 was one of those cards which is always nice to have that is likely to get better of age, whereas the RTX 3060 is basically, it's going to be as good as it is out of the box on day one. Excuse me, it's rarely going to get better. So yeah, we lost out there a little bit. Well, a lot. I think the motherboard cost me, the motherboard cost me 250, I think. The processor cost me 250. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, the graphics card cost me 220 something, so that's already 750 ish. So the rest of the stuff is kind of like, ugh. But I'm glad it's gone. And to be fair, the kiddie who bought it, I think he must have been either very late teens or early 20s. So had a previous PC, sold it, but wanted to get back into PC gaming again. Very, very nice kiddie. Come around, very polite, very pleasant, asking questions. What's that?
I forgot to give him a couple of cables.
Oh yeah, I messed up. I forgot to give him the power cable because there was a European power cable in there, not a UK one. And there was a problem actually. He set it up. I actually gave him a monitor as well because he didn't have a monitor. He said, I'm going to have to go and buy a keyboard, mouse and monitor. I said, well, I don't really have any keyboards and mice that I can give you, but if you want a monitor, I've got this one, which I've just got from our daughter's bedroom, so like a 24-inch 1080p, which needed a good clean. So I gave him the monitor as well. That was quite good to clear some space. So, yeah, he was a nice kiddie. So it was nice to do something for someone and make someone happy, and basically clear some room so we can kind of just start over on that. Although now I've got to try and buy basically another PC for kind of like 400-ish pounds, which these days isn't going to be very easy. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm in an eye now. I've got the ITX build to do, which I've been meaning to do, the 3D printed case that Patrick LaBelle kindly sent over to us, which we already did in the live stream, but I did want to do another version of it and kind of hone it down a little bit and compress the video. But I've also got another ITX case which I need to do a build in, but I've only got one set of ITX component. Well, actually tell a lie, I've got two sets, haven't I? Yeah, ignore me, that's fine, I can do that. So I've got to do two AMD builds, an ITX one and either micro ATX or ATX. And I've also got to do an AM5 micro ATX build. And then I think I'm almost up straight with all the points, but yeah, we'll see.
Brilliant, Beanies stream's working at last.
Hey, good stuff. Chris Hartford, how you doing? He says, I I think the PC flipping market is just flat at the moment. I've 4 systems listed for 6 weeks plus. Yeah, I was at the point of the whole PC that was built. I was thinking, do I just strip it down for parts and just sell off the individual parts as need be? But time to some extent is money. So dealing with kind of like 7 or 8 different individual cells rather than one cell.
One's bad enough.
One was bad enough.
Not that
Didn't
one,
really
but
want to make
it's
it
just time.
much more time consuming. I was almost of the mind of just put it back all in the boxes and just stick it in the loft and look at it in the summer or something. But I thought, well, it's just losing value the longer I keep it. Although having said that, the PC market, everything's getting more expensive at the moment. So chances are actually holding on to it into the summer, potentially it might even be worth more than it was when I paid for it. But then people aren't going to have the money, so yeah, it swings and roundabouts. Skystalker says, are you still building a PC for Colin Hilton? I am supposed to be doing it, yeah. I need to get him booked in to do that. The specs of that, if I remember rightly, it's an Intel i9 14900K. I'm pretty sure it's a Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard. Case-wise, I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure we're transplanting it back into his existing case, which is a Lian Li Lancool 3. But I think he might be considering changing cases because that one's quite heavy. So I'm not too sure, but he's bought 64 gigs of RAM. I think he bought some 2 terabyte NVMe drives, maybe a 4 terabyte, I'm not sure. And also we've got a power supply down here which was donated by the kind community. So we have actually got a, where is it? If I can find it. This was Colin's 80th birthday present. If I can get it out. Oh God. So we've got a Thermaltake Tough Power GF A3 Snow 1050 watt power supply. So that is going to be going into Colin's PC. Still in the shrink wrap. I've been very tempted to open it and use it myself, but that's Colin's, so I'm not touching it. Oh God, it's all falling apart down here. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. I'm not sure whether we're going to be videoing it or anything. I think it's just going to be a case, because it takes Colin, I'm sure, like 3 or 4 hours to drive to Bristol. So then by the time I actually do the upgrade, and for him to then drive home again, without it being a ridiculously long day, well, it's going to be anyway, but I don't really fancy Colin driving home 4 hours, like, late at night. So we'll have to start off...
Charles says,
who the hell is Colin Hilton? Colin Hilton is one of our senior members of the Mike's Unboxing community. Senior as in he's got a few years behind him, but he's a very good friend of the channel. He's a proper old school geezer, really is. Says what he thinks. If you don't like it, that's not his problem. It's in a nice way. It's an endearing thing. So yeah.
At least you know where you stand.
You know, yeah, you know exactly where you stand. If he tells you you're an idiot, then you're an idiot. Luckily, he hasn't said that.
Go up to Richard.
I was going to try and scroll with my phone then. That's not going to work.
I tried doing that with the light remote.
Richard. I can't see Richard. How far up is it?
Not that far. Evening all. Mike, have you thought about one of the new pricey APUs at all?
Ah, there we go. I got it. Richard's asking, have I thought about the price of new APUs? I have thought about them, but I don't think I'm going to bite just yet. I think AMD slightly needs to learn a lesson with APUs, because as it stands at the moment, the APU built into the new 8000 series processors is still basically, I would say, not as good as putting a 1060 in your computer. And if you look at the price of the APUs, you're looking around about $250 or more. So for £250, you can relatively easily buy something like a 5600, Ryzen 5600 for about 100 and change. And then you can pick up a 40, 50 quid 1060, even the 3 gig version, which will give the APU a real run for its money. And also, you don't have it hampering the fact that it's got reduced PCI Express lanes and is only on PCI Express Gen 4, etc, etc. So the APU has a certain sort of niche market to it. It's not going to be one of those processors which is a good idea if you're planning on adding a GPU at a later date. But if you are building a specifically form factor computer that you will never ever be able to put a graphics card into or connect to via Thunderbolt or something, then for that instance it makes a lot of sense, because it is essentially the fastest APU there's ever been. But with the reality check that it's still slow as ass, basically, for what it is. So it's a good idea, and it has a certain keyboard's turned off, that's why. It has a certain use case scenario, but I think for the majority of people, at that price, it's not really even a kind of like a stepping stone thing where, like, if you've got X amount of money and you're trying to build a PC and you're going to get a graphics card at a later date, as a hole filler, it doesn't really make a great deal of sense either, because it's on a quite expensive platform anyway, because it's on the DDR5 platform, so your RAM's going to cost more. So if you really are scraping the barrel and you don't have the money for a graphics card, you're actually better off going for the older AM4 platform on like a 5700, 5600, something along those lines, and buying a cheap graphics card. And the money that you'll save on the motherboard, the money you'll save on the RAM, you could probably get yourself the graphics card, which would be better anyway.
James miscellaneous off.
Cheers, James. Hope you feel better soon. So, yeah, there you go.
Thing's giving Maisie a bit of a comb over.
Oh.
Like a side party.
James says, got to go and attend to stuff. Love you all very much. Mike, thanks for the KVM monitor review. Love it. But the stand base takes up too much space. Got it. No worries. Alexa says, Colin sounds like my kind of people. Yeah, Colin's awesome. Charles Ballard says, oh, I thought he was a football player or TV star. He is probably a star in his own right. He has got his own channel as well, so you can check him out.
Same name.
Same name, just search for Colin Hilton on YouTube. Mark Berry says, I'm thinking about building a NAS. It's one of those, I've always wanted to build a NAS, but then I quite like the whole kind of turnkey solution, like the Synology, where you kind of, it's a known quantity. So if you ever get any problems or you've got any questions, because there's such a massive wide user base of Synology users, you can quite often find an answer to any problem you might experience, especially when it comes to security. Because the thing is with a NAS, if you're using it to back up your PC and or your family's PCs or photos or whatever it is, the last thing you want is for that device to be compromised in some way and either encrypted, and they want a ransom, some sort of ransomware, or it gets infected or deleted. All those kinds of things can happen. So if you are building your own NAS and you're going to be then installing kind of Unraid or TrueNAS or whatever the kind of popular software solution is these days, unless you have either a knowledge of how that system works, or you know of specifically someone who uses it and has done a really good tutorial and is constantly keeping that updated with the latest revisions, etc., etc., then I don't know, it just feels like a little bit of a risk. And also, depending on kind of what hardware you're using, I think when people build their own NAS, there's the tendency to kind of go with relatively off-the-shelf components, but off-the-shelf components might not be the ideal solution. And if any of the components fail, do you have any form of redundancy? Like with the Synology at the moment, if the whole unit fails, I can take the discs out and put it into another brand new unit and it will just rebuild itself and work. With a lot of other NASs, that possibly isn't the case. So you do have to bear those things in mind. It depends on what data you're keeping, how important it is to you. If it's sensitive financial information, then there's that to it as well. You have to consider that if you are storing data, which may be something which customs might want, or inland revenue, tax service, whatever. There's always those things as well to be considered, that you should be protecting your data. But then the whole kind of idea of a NAS, what you're using it for, if you're just using it for providing videos to your family and friends, then I guess security is less of an issue, because you're going to be doing some sort of tailscale or VPN or port forwarding to allow people to access your network to watch that content if you trust them. But then you've got a port open on your router to let the outside world in. So yeah, it's not as easy a thing as what it used to be in this somewhat dishonest and technological world. Dom's come in with 70 ZARs, which I can never remember what that is. Where's Ugly Bob when you need him?
Come in. Sorry, mates.
Thank you for that super chat. 70 ZARs. So just a reminder, the like button is not mandatory, but it's a nice thing to do, especially for a channel like this. Thank you very much, Dom. Much appreciated.
What's the lights?
Look, lights. Flishy flashy.
What's that, Oats?
Otis. That's exciting, isn't it? You excited by that?
Can't find Dave.
No, simply not interested.
Is that fun, Oats?
Thank you, Dom. Where is it? There was a question I saw just up from that. Kev2427, if you had a budget of £380, which GPU would you plump for? Ooh, that is that's a difficult one. £380. That is actually a difficult question, because at the £380 mark, if you're looking at brand spanking new, it's probably going to have to be an AMD card, because on the NVIDIA side of things, you're going to be looking at an RTX 4060 Ti, I think. Yeah, 4060 Ti, because it's roughly the same price as the previous one, which used to be 369. So yeah, a 4060 Ti. And actually, the 4060 Ti isn't itself a bad graphics card. It's just the price wasn't great compared with the 3060 Ti, which it replaced. And performance-wise, it was basically the same, but considerably less wattage. So, yeah, 4060 Ti, I'm guessing at £380, you're not going to be getting a 7800 XT. So you're going to have to drop down to a 7700 XT, which 12 gig card, arguably slightly better, but it's in that very same thing. So you've got 3060 Ti, you've got the 6800, you've also got the 7700 XT, the 4060 Ti, and that's kind of it really, I think. I can't think of it. Well, you've got the Intel Arc A770 16 gig as well, but that's probably not a great buy at that price. You've got the 6700 XT, which will come in a little bit cheaper than that, I think. It's not a straightforward answer to that one, really. As is the case, there isn't in the market at the moment a kind of an obvious solution at any price point, really. Because they've all got their pros and cons, and none of them drastically outperform the other, which is always the problem when you've got the same 3 to 5 companies that are all massive shareholders in the companies they're fighting against. So, like AMD and NVIDIA and Intel, the primary shareholders for all 3 of them are the same 5 companies. So there's not going to be any one product which is going to be a runaway winner, because obviously it's not in their interest to do that. And the whole thing, like, NVIDIA graphics cards could be significantly faster. They really could be, because look at the power they use. They are severely throttled. Now the reason behind that is because they actually can. If they wanted to, they could drop up to kind of 600 watts into the graphics cards on those 12-pin, well, 16-pin connectors to really squeeze every bit of power out of the 4000 series. But they knew they didn't need to. So they just reduced the power right the way back so that they were competitive with AMD, but still had a reasonably convincing win in the majority of instances, especially given the technologies like DLSS and also obviously ray tracing is they're all in on ray tracing. So yeah, and with the artificial locks as well on pretty much all of the 40 series cards, where you get to a certain power limit and you just basically can't do anything else because they've been artificially hard locked. The 40 series could be significantly better than it has been, which is ridiculous really, but anyway, side rant over. For £380, I honestly don't know what I would do. I would genuinely struggle with that. I would be either tempted to go low ball and go under that, or put a little bit more money with it and maybe go for the kind of like the 450 range, and then you might get a 7800 XT, possibly, which would be significantly better than the 7700 XT and would be within spitting distance of the 4070 and 4070 Super to some extent. Hard decisions to be made there, I think. Hopefully that answers your question, Kev. Rick H says, I just bought a Ryzen 5 3600 for $113 to replace my Ryzen 5 1600 AF. Awesome stuff. David Andrew says, fitting a dash cam last video. Oh, that's referring to Colin.
He also says there's one with Gary Holsworth. Are you in cahoots with Gary?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Go up a bit, it says.
Where does it say that? Up or down?
Up.
Where is that?
Richard says, Mike, the second result for Colin Hilton on YouTube is a Kerry Holzman upgrade video with him. Mike, are you and Kerry secretly in cahoots?
No. No. From what I gather, Colin used to be a very prominent supporter of Kerry Holzman, Kerry Holzman's channel, and I believe that he sent Kerry the Magewell video capture card, which Kerry used for pretty much loads of his streams. The Magewell capture card, I'm sure, was like about £1,000 or something silly. So it was an extremely generous donation. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. I know that he used to be a contributor there, or contributor. If I can spell it right, say it right.
Spell it right with your teeth.
Spell it right if I had someone else's teeth. Last Man Standing UK says the 6800 is an awesome card. It is, I agree. And actually, even though I've bought a 7800 XT, which is currently there behind you, me, in your shop, in my PC over there, I've got the 6800 still for the power efficiency. But now that I'm using a 165 Hz monitor, that's kind of gone out the window anyway, so that might be going back in there at some point. We'll see. Atomic Sub says this CX sells the 6800s for £380. I think that would be a good idea. William Bodie is saying, Ugly Bob, do you know where Stuart is? I'm not too sure. I can't, well, no, I shouldn't say. Stuart's okay. I have heard from him today. Aletta says, I don't care one bit about ray tracing. Sorry, NVIDIA, not sorry. I actually don't like ray tracing. And for a lot of games, unless you see a deliberate side-by-side example, it's hard to know that ray tracing is actually on. There are some games where they've remade them, like Quake 2 RTX, which just looks like a completely different game. But for most titles, things like Fortnite, Dead Island, Dying Light, basically any modern game, you have to say, or you have to look in, well, you don't have to. If you look at your frame rate, you can tell if RTX is on or not, because generally it's going to be significantly lower. Or if there's specific areas of the game that you know really well, you could probably tell by the lighting to some extent if you're in there, if there's like God rays or shadows or whatever. But more times than not, you actually have to kind of double check your settings, like, is RTX actually on, to know that it's on. At least for me, that is the case anyway. So yeah, I'm not a fan of RTX at all. But some games do look completely different, and they're doing a lot of remakes because there's an RTX add-on now. So older games like Need for Speed Underground and stuff like that, they will be getting it. But in a lot of instances, it actually makes a game worse because natural lighting isn't always the best solution. And for a lot of games that, like I said earlier, like with OLED, you miss some of the detail unless you crank up the brightness, which then distorts the colors and the accuracy. So to get that competitive advantage of being able to see in the dark, it ruins that illusion anyway. So RTX is more of a cinematic thing. So for like single player games or slower moving titles, it's great. But for fast action games, it's kind of pointless. Dave Underhill says, someone in the USA said that all the 4070, 4080 Supers are out of stock. Here in Australia, you can't give them away. But like I said earlier in the stream, the 4070 Super Founders Edition just come back into stock at Nvidia UK. Oh, scan.co.uk technically. First time they've been back in stock since they first launched. But they're still £579, whereas you can get the Zotac Twin Edge OC edition 4070 Super for, I think it was £539 plus postage, so like basically £550. So £30 cheaper and arguably runs a little bit cooler. But I suppose Founders Edition cards always kind of look a little bit nicer. Depends what you want, really. Alessa says, when you're getting shot at, you don't have time to notice the pretty shadows. Exactly. Kev2427 says, currently looking on GP Used. I actually have bought 2 graphics cards from GP Used this week. I bought a GTX 1070 for a repair that I've been doing, which there's actually a fix or fail video coming out, which probably saying I've bought a graphics card kind of spoils that one a little bit, but anyway. You'll get it. You'll see it from the description of the video anyway on the thumbnail, so don't worry too much. But I also bought a RX 660, well, 6600. That is the only other graphics card at the moment which actually makes a ton of sense. So the Radeon RX 6600, which actually when it first released was almost universally hated and despised, is now possibly the only graphics card on the entire market which actually makes a shred of sense. So I bought another one because I had one before, which was the ASRock Challenger, and I bought the Gigabyte Eagle, which I haven't owned a Gigabyte graphics card in absolutely years. The last time I had a Gigabyte Eagle was when behind me there was a Gigabyte Aorus Elite motherboard, and I think I had an RX 570 8 gig, which was running that streaming PC for probably about a year. But I haven't owned a Gigabyte graphics card since the RX 570. So that's how long it's been. So we'll be doing some more reviews on older, cheaper graphics cards, which is always nice to see. And it was £149, which I think 150 quid for an RX 6600, it's actually like pretty decent. And it's still a capable card and is going to have a reasonable lifespan ahead of it. Skystalker says Zotac does make a nice product. They do. Last Man Standing UK, yes, 539 free post if you're a forum member. I think I am a forum member actually. Not sure. William Bodie says, question Mike, did you see the Cyberpunk 2077 real mods on YouTube? I haven't seen that, no. You'll have to send me a link or something at some point, or I'll try and search it.
Hey Candy.
Charles Ballard says, my 6800 XT Runs games at frame rates that are only limited by the refresh rate of my monitor. Awesome stuff. Someone's just messaged me something, I think. New client connected to the network. Who's that? Oh, that's that Nokia phone, isn't it? Did somebody message me on the Discord?
Hey Dave.
General chat.
You're getting a bit heavy to climb up my legs now.
Someone called IS6. Oh, I'm not going to say that. Can anyone help me in voice chat? My monitor says no signal. No, sorry. No voice chat. I am streaming right now. I love that. People come to help you and say, oh, hi Mike, I love your channel. I watch all your videos. It's like, so you don't realise that I'm streaming on a Saturday evening, which I've done for the last 5 years.
Probably longer than that, isn't it? Mind you, it was a Friday before, wasn't it? It started on a Friday night.
Kev says, what does the 6600 compete with? Yeah, 3060, A750, A770, that sort of level. I find it to be really good. If you search on the channel, we did a review of the ASRock one, the Challenger, which was the RX 660. I think that was only a twin fan model because they don't really use a great deal of power. I think it was like 150 watts or something ridiculous, maybe 120 or something. So it was a very, very low power usage. It's almost one of those cars that could almost be bus powered if you undervolted it, but unfortunately that isn't the case. But yeah, the great cars. And again, in this economic climate where everyone is a little bit screwed and there ain't a lot of money around, investing an absolute ton of cash into a graphics card, which is only going to be kind of slight percentage values more than what you could get out of a 6600 or something, seems like a little bit of a bad idea. And of course, it's a lot easier to, if you buy a card which is brand new, like 200 quid for instance sake, it's a lot easier to resell it at kind of like 140, 150 than it is if you buy a graphics card which is like 600, which people then going to want to pay like 400. So you always get caught back on pricing with graphics cards, especially the more expensive ones. I guess it depends on the model, but in general, it's kind of, you look at what RX 580s are still going for new now, which they haven't made them for ages. David says the RX 600 XT are good cards. Paid $880 for mine 2 years ago. Only $289 now. I get 200 FPS on 1440p playing Doom 2016, aka Doom Slayer. Happy days. Chris Hartford says, a little bit disappointed. Last card from GPU used was dirty and screws missing. Oh, really? That is interesting to know. I hope you left some feedback. GPUs is one of those things. I had a list of components and bits and pieces that I wanted to send off, and I was like, well, you interested in this stuff? So I sent a long list of bits and pieces that I thought I'd clear, and then it took about a week for an answer to come back, and then they're like, well, we've been busy, sorry. Just had a closer look. It's not really the sort of stuff that we want. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, send photos over, wasn't it? So you spent ages.
I sent photos or a list over, and it took about a week after that to them to say no, not really interested. So I get it, because some of it was like peripherals, keyboards, mice, that sort of stuff, which mostly they do stuff which goes in a PC or is a PC sort of thing. Although they have got some consoles and stuff which arguably you could say would be okay, but I don't know. Anyway, whatever. We will see. So I've got a EVGA GTX 1070 SC, which I think I had from them before actually. I'm pretty sure I did have that before. But anyway, got another one. I was quite pleased with the last one. It seemed quite clean and ran very well. But we'll see what it's like when it comes through. They have got, I did notice actually, their descriptions aren't completely obvious unless you scroll down through, because I did go to buy a card and I think it was actually the 1070, and there was a listing a bit further down because it showed like the box and everything, and I thought, well, that's quite nice if I get a box. But then it was message saying that there was no box, it went missing, and it was actually lower on in the text. And I did notice there was an RTX 3070 Gaming X Trio MSI card, which was about £280, which is actually a really good price. eBay isn't as cheap as that, but if you look closely, you can see the card is like rotted. It's basically got like corrosion all over it. But unless you look very closely at the pictures or actually read the full briefing, you may not pick that up, thinking you're getting a fantastic deal, when in reality it looks a little bit shocking.
Sorry, I've missed it. William Bodie's done a link in chat or something.
Okay, that's for that video, is it? Thank you.
Mike, did you see the Cyberpunk 2077 real mods on YouTube?
Yeah, I haven't seen the link though.
It's because he's not a moderator, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shall I turn him into one?
Yeah, you need to be a moderator to post links, so Kath will make you a moderator briefly, and then if you don't want to be a moderator, you can get rid of it after. Where did I get to? Yeah, so I think cheap cards are the way to go. Last Man Standing UK, how you doing? Mike, what is your view on the 4TB Crucial P3 for £150 at Amazon? At the moment, I think that's probably a good deal, because realistically, 1TB at the moment is about £45 to £50, depending what brand it is and where you're shopping. That is kind of like the baseline price. So obviously a 2TB drive, you're going to be looking about 90 to 100 at the lowest. 3TB, obviously not really many of those about, but you're looking about 150. 4TB in theory should be around about £200, maybe about 180. So for 150, I think that's a pretty decent shout. And if you're buying it, use our affiliate links, and that's even better. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. Crucial P3. I think with the Crucial P3s, they're good drives as secondary drives, but as a primary drive, ideally you want the P3 Plus, which has got the onboard cache, just to make those transfers a little bit more snappy for Windows. But saying that, most drives these days are so fast it makes very little difference.
Should I send that link to you?
Yeah, send it on Discord and I'll have a look at that. Thank you, William.
Get ready for the ping.
Ping. Pinged.
Hello, baby. What's your notes? There's candy. Come on. Thought you were already up on my chair. Thought you were up in your little pillow on the back. Where's your tits?
Last Man Standing says will do. Thank you. Atomic Serb says the price of decent NVMe drives has risen so much in the past few months. It really has. It got to the point where we were doing the review for the Fiquat FN501 drive, and at one point, one of the other reviewers that reviewed that same drive, they had an offer on. I think it was £36 for a terabyte. And then by the time our video came out, which was less than a month later, it was up to like 53, I think it was, minus the 5% discount, or 10%, whatever it was, take it down to about 47. So like £10 more expensive is like 20% dearer within a month. It's just terrifying. I actually wanted to get some more NVMe drives for stock. I'm regretting now not buying more when they were cheaper around about Christmas time, because I think they're going to get very, very expensive towards the middle of spring, summer 2024, unfortunately. Last Man Standing says was going to use it for a Steam games library. Yeah, for that it's absolutely perfect. Dan Mara says, I can't believe how much my EVGA GTX 1060 6GB is selling for today. I know, they've gone, well, they're just still... Otis! Candy, out. Out. Oi.
Right, stay there, Flame.
Do not play with those good luck charms. Sounds ominous. Oi. Come on.
I know, mate. I'm sorry.
Sorry, she's getting out now. She is quite obedient. Bless her heart. Yeah, we actually got a... I tried to stifle that one, couldn't do it. CAF's PC is still got the GTX 1060 6 gig that we got from William Bodie from Welly Bob's
Is it CPU?
Ryzen 5 2600. So between Welly Bob and William Bodie, you're keeping CAF's PC going. And it's working so well that she can't... Well, she won't let me replace it. I want to replace that computer, but she won't let me.
I haven't upgraded my phone since 2019.
Aletta says, I just bought a Silicon Power 2TB NVMe M.2 for $105. Not a bad price. That's quite good for this. I think American prices in general seem to be slightly better, but is that 105 plus taxes or is that 105 excluding taxes? Because that's the thing as well. I think, well, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure most American prices that are quoted, especially in YouTube and stuff, are the excluding taxes, because the taxes differ from state to state and from county to county, I guess, as well, to some extent. Whereas in the UK, we always quote VAT included or value added tax included. So if we say something's £110, that is it, £110, you don't pay any more. Whereas I think American pricing, like on YouTube and stuff, and also catalogs and Walmart or whatever, I'm guessing you would pay that price plus your local sales tax would be added on later at checkout, depending on what zip code you're in or state. Is that right? Am I understanding that correctly?
I asked that a few weeks ago. Candy.
I think we did ask that similar thing, but I can't remember the answer.
Lord Erectus is in.
Hey, Lord Erectus. Greetings, Vulcan.
You're going to go and see Lord Erectus, Candy.
Aletta says that was a price before tax. Okay,
she's
got it.
after the
You got it, Mike.
ceiling fan.
Freedom House.
Strings.
What are you doing?
Oh, she can't wait to
Candy.
see Lord Erectus.
David Andrew says Australia's the same with pricing, actually illegal to advertise tax-free. In the UK, you can choose to advertise either including or excluding VAT, but if you are showing your prices excluding VAT, you do have to have a very small asterisk or warning saying prices are excluding VAT. So it has to be quite clear over here.
Quite clear. It's small writing.
Well, clear-ish. It has to be there.
It has to be there.
Like
so nothing about being
that
clear.
small asterisk at the end saying
Absolutely free.
RTX 4090 like performance asterisk if the 4090 didn't have a power cable attached type thing. Wendy Bob says Americans typically price everything and don't include the tax they pay on it.
Come on, Candy. Who's crying? Is that you, Dave, or is that you, Candy? What's wrong, Candy?
Last Man Standing says got ripped off from a garage quoting me a price without VAT. Yeah, because I work in the car shop on a weekend on a Sunday, when people phone up for quotes and they say like, have you got a track rod arm for BMW E90 or whatever, I give them the price and I always make an effort of saying that is the price inclusive of VAT and taxes. So I'm always very upfront with that. So yes, this is the price including VAT. So a lot of garages, and it used to be very common in the car trade to quote X VAT. And I think plumbers used to do that as well. And like a lot of trades would do that. Say, oh yeah, we can do that for you. It'll be such and such. And then you get the bill and it's like, oh, plus VAT. Like shit. And VAT is 20% here in the UK. So it does add on a considerable amount. If you're buying something for £1,000, an extra 20% is another 200 quid. So it's not great. Charles says, yeah, our prices are a base price for item. The taxes are added at the checkout. Yeah, and I suppose depending on what state you're in, like some states are particularly lenient when it comes to local taxes. I always get the kind of local tax and federal tax confused. Is federal tax universal? And then you've got your state tax on top of that? Not that it matters, but I am somewhat interested. Sky says, different jurisdictions have different tax rates. In Canada, it's GST, goods and services tax, and PST, provincial sales tax, plus 12.5%. Listed prices do not include those taxes. Last Man Standing says, go to Delaware, no state or sales taxes. Yeah, I think that's where I want to go. Lord Erectus says, homeless people are packed like sardines on the coast here. It seems weird, like, if you were going to be homeless, not that obviously it's a good thing or anything like that, but you would imagine, like, in somewhere like Australia, where obviously, we get our opinion of Australia from watching television and from what we've historically seen. So you've got things like, obviously, Neighbours, Home and Away, Prisoners, Cell Block H, probably not such a good example, but the typical Australian soaps, they portray Australia as being this kind of evergreen land of the bountiful, and that's like everything is there. It's just a great place.
And lush weather.
Fantastic weather every day of the year. Never rain. Well, rarely rain. Never snows or anything like that. It's just always just sunny and fantastic weather. So yeah, you imagine it to be somewhat like that. So being homeless in Australia, although obviously a terrible thing, you think, well, it's a very temperate climate. It's not like in the UK where it's kind of raining 80% of the time and cold 60-70% of the time. But yeah, that's probably why there's not enough houses in Australia, because it's too nice over there. But I suppose you get used to where you are. So if you're comfortable in a comfortable place, when you get made uncomfortable, it's still uncomfortable because of how you're used to living. Not enough houses. Which is weird, because you think Australia is such a huge, huge, huge place, which is so sparsely populated. You'd think that enterprising companies, or even those, I'm not going to say the word, but companies like BlackRock, etc., would go over there and start building entire townships just to make the money on it, because it could be done. So I don't know why it is as it is. Strange. You'd expect them to just be like put houses in left, right, and centre. But I suppose you've got to put things in like roads, sewers, drainage, all that kind of stuff as well. So it's not as easy as all that. Rick H says taxation is theft. Right on, brother. Charles says there's no federal sales tax. All taxes are state and municipality. Oh, right, okay. Where did I get the idea there's a federal sales tax or federal taxes? Probably watching too many movies. Kenny D says Australia may be huge, but not everywhere is prime location for infrastructure. Yeah, that kind of is the realization. Like, you see the places like Erinsborough on Neighbours, and you think that, like, living in the UK is a tiny little pissant island, and we're all reasonably crammed in, although there is still massive green spaces available, but we are in these kind of smallish areas. So you just imagine it is like Australia being a hot version of where we are. Yeah, there's a lot of empty land in the UK.
But yeah, we've given the impression of being crammed in, because we are crammed in to little areas.
Charles says we have federal income tax. Right, I understand. Okay. Got you. Charles says, in fact, it's our yearly tax time. Yeah, ours is, well, Tax returns in the UK traditionally are the 4th of April.
6th of April.
6th of April, I always get it wrong. But I always work up to March the 31st just to cut off there because it's cleaner for my spreadsheet. I'm not sure whether it's illegal or not. I guess it isn't. As long as it's 12 months and you go from April the 1st to March the 31st, or yeah, April the 1st to March
I think you
31st.
looked into it and it was fine.
I think you can do your own tax year whenever you want to in the UK, so you can go from December to December if you want to.
As they predict what you might earn and want it up front.
Taxation is a thing. Last man standing says UK is the size of Wyoming, 70 million population. Wyoming just over 500k. Man, that's mad. So can you go from like Wyoming and just not see anybody for days if you're driving? Wendy Bob says, right, it's late. If I don't go to bed soon, I might forget when to get up. Yes, I know the feeling actually because I've got to be up for work tomorrow. So I think we should wrap this up. I really do, unless there's any other questions that need answering. Aletta says, I make sure all work I do is paid cash under the table, so no Fed tax. You probably don't want to say that out loud because there's people in the world that will... actually, no one knows who you are, so it doesn't make any difference. What did Sky say? Something about the... Unless the law changes for the last 4 days. Not sure it is. Last man standing says, great chat, Mike, loved it. Good, glad to hear it. Glenn says, cheers, folks, good night all. Glenn, also, I need to ask you about your race next weekend. And I don't know. I need to speak to Kath about it first, but I'll speak to you in the Discord because I've got an idea. Anyway, Hugh Luttrell says, good night all. William Bodie says, Mike, will you not forget to see the video? I will try and see it. I'll be at work tomorrow morning until the afternoon, so when I get in, I'll go through my emails, do all the stuff I need to do, and I'll look on the Discord and I'll check out the link that Kath sent. I will do that, don't worry. So, yeah, that's 3 hours of your life you won't get back. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, smash the like button. Hopefully you like the Series 330. I'm actually very impressed with it, and I do prefer that all one colour situation without that kind of different colour here for the scoop. I think that is actually a very good addition, and hopefully they do a Series 550. That will be very interesting to see how that comes out. I think if I go for another case, the next one might be a black one. I think I'd quite miss having a black PC up there, like a big black box with loads of RGB in. So I think the white is, I don't know, it opens the space up a bit, but I do kind of miss having a black PC up there. Anyway, thank you all for joining us on this Saturday evening. If you haven't already, like I said, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, then maybe subscribe and you can see this sort of content on a daily basis. We do release videos Monday through Friday every day, and then we've got the live streams on the Saturdays, and there's sometimes shorts and what have you. Of course, you can join our Discord, which I will put a link in the video right now. So there is our Discord in the chat, so if you want to join that, you can do to continue the conversation. And also, if you want to help support the channel, you can use our affiliate links, or alternatively, you can use premiumcdkeys.com/Mike's Unboxing and grab yourself a nice Windows 10 or Windows 11 license key for less than $5, which is awesome. And also Office 365, or sorry, Office Professional Plus, which you can pick up for about £12 at the moment, I think, for the full Office suite with a lifetime license for the PC it's installed on. If you want to install it, or if you install another PC, you will have to renew that license. But the Windows license is a normal digital license which will follow you, follow your PC, etc. So no worries there. And again, for £5 or $5, you can't really ask for much more. And I think the other day we bought one, and I think it was £3.90 or something.
You probably still got it on there because I can't remember printing it.
I think they're down to like under £4 now for premium CD keys for Windows 10 retail licenses. Kath's looking now.
Where's the pounds?
It was on the PayPal thing at the time.
Offers, yeah? That's
Yeah.
the one, isn't it? It was £2.99.
Oh, £2.99 plus taxes. There you go. Got to get those taxes in at the end of the day.
I don't think they were.
Oh, maybe they weren't. So £3 for a Windows license.
€3.36.
£3.36 or €3.36.
I said it wrong.
Cash confusing me. Anyway, moving on. So thank you all very much. Hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Again, if you want to carry on the conversation, head over to our Discord. I may or may not be in there straight away because obviously you've got to pack all this crap away. But if I can, I'll be in there and make half a coffee, obviously.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, right. So, yes, I think that should be it. So, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend.